Peace and hair grease, everybody. What's going on? My name is Brother Legend. This is my live. We talk about all things involving Pan-Africanism, brothers and sisters of the diaspora, and on the continent as well. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to have a discussion, not a debate. What's going on? Peace and blessings to all my people. Hope everyone's had a... What's good, Alicia? Appreciate you for coming through. Hope everybody's had a great week. We're about to close it out tomorrow. It's the weekend. I'm up here nice and early. You know what that means. We in here. Hope everybody's had a good meal today. You know what I'm saying? Not too much sugar. We know that causes mucus. Yeah, we just started. Ren, what's going on? Hope y'all had some veggies. You know what I'm saying? You know, some your choice of a protein. Hope you know. Hope y'all eating good, living good, smelling good. I got me some new beard oil. But yeah, today's questions are above my head. Try to shorten the questions, man, because people come up and it's like we start getting into their backstory and, you know, I usually have 4 questions. Today we got 2. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to keep it orderly, you know, a little bit if we can. Everybody come up here, think that God give you their origin story. You know, that's a thing. Pin your goal. Oh, wow, they let me make a goal? Huh? They took away my goal privileges for a while, y'all. I don't know if you noticed. I haven't had a goal in a minute. Yes, I've definitely had enough, brother. Shout out to African Advice Channel. Definitely had enough. So I had to shorten it up. I don't know why they took away my goal privileges, because I was meeting my goals almost every live. But I don't know if you noticed, but I haven't had a goal in a minute. So I got my goal. I'm going to just set that real quick. All right. So I was going to make a video today, but I didn't know what to make the video about, to be honest. They do suppress content, sister. In my last video, if is it my last video, or it might be, I don't know. Check my last. I'm not sure which one it is right now off the top of my head, but it's like one of my last 3 videos has way more likes than views. Like not way more likes than views, but it has more likes than the ratio to views it's supposed to have. Like, you're supposed to have 1 like per 10 views in order to like get boosted by the algorithm or whatever. This is this one video I got that's got like I should have like at least 1,000 more views for this many likes, but I don't know, it kind of weirded me out. I got a feeling the second question gonna get, yeah, me too. Yeah, so it is what it is. I'm learning the algorithm. I want to start a series on problematic vocabulary, starting with the word emancipation. So I'm going to post a video about that. I have more problematic vocabulary words that Pan-Africans should either avoid or be intentional when you use them. Words that, you know, we use every day that maybe we haven't thought critically enough about because it's just second nature to us, you know, the way we talk. I don't mean like the N-word and stuff like that. I'm talking about like, you know, for example, the first video is going to be on emancipation. That's to deal with, you know, the fact that our ancestors were never slaves. They were enslaved people. You can't own anyone as property. You can just deny them their freedom. That's not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? These are the words of Malcolm X. Who else said this? Someone else said this. It wasn't just Malcolm. Who else said you can't own slaves? You can't. Oh, Stokely Carmichael. Kwame Ture. He's the other one that said this in an address to UCLA. So yeah. Can you define raise pro-black children? Pro-blackness is defined by the scholars of our community as prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. So, raising a child with that in mind would be raising pro-black children. So, we can talk about it.
Hey. Oh,
What's going
sorry. I
on,
was just
Shay?
yeah, that's how you say it. Thank you. Do you think that non-black parents can raise pro-black children?
That's funny. That's what I'm asking you. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Okay. Age 18, race biracial, and then pronouns she, her.
Yeah, you have a black parent?
Yeah, I do.
Is that why you say you're biracial instead of just saying you're black?
No, I say I'm biracial instead because I was raised by a white, well, before I was put into the adoption system, I was raised by a white parent, and I don't pass. I know that's a fact. I don't pass until I have to show someone, my parents, my father, I meant. But until I actually show someone my father, I don't pass. They say, "Oh, you're either white." You're like, you're white." No, you're white. No, you're not black.
So
Or
you define
oh,
yourself by what other people tell you you are.
I guess. I guess I'm just always like, well, it's
That
not.
doesn't
I'm not
sound
gonna try
healthy.
to. I know, but I'm not gonna try to argue with someone else my own race and let
You
other
don't
people
have a
tell me
race.
my race.
You said you're
I,
biracial.
yeah, white and black.
Yeah, white and black is not a race. You can't be a person without color and a person with color in the same person. So
That's
if
why I
you have
said
color, you're a person of color. Whatever that color is the color you are. But if you don't want to be that color, we're not going to force you. But go ahead. Answer the questions for us.
okay. I don't think non-black parents should be raising black children.
What makes you think that?
They just don't know how to like let's just say it's a white person that's never non-black person that's never been around black people or don't have them in their community and a like you know what I mean, and they wouldn't know how to care for them, like their hair. When I was put into the adoption system, there was only one other black kid there,
One other
and
black kid. So you're saying there were two black kids there? Or are you saying you're one of the black kids?
sorry, you know what? I'll just say I'm white. I don't pass as black. I'll just say I'm white because I know I'm.
What I'm
Since
trying
you're
to
saying
tell you
biracial is
is you're
not race,
not white if you got a black parent. That's not how that works. You just said as soon as they see your parent, you don't pass. White people don't have to worry about passing. They don't have to think about race. They just are freely able to move in the world. That's called white privilege. The privilege is a power that you don't know you have in an oppressive system. So if you're able to pass, that means that you're a black person. You can pass because you can hide your blackness. And so that's an option you have. But the fact that you have to hide it means you ain't white.
I'm sorry. So you said biracial is not race. You said that I don't even
It's a
like.
description of your parents. It's not a race. When I ask you what you are, if you have to say, well, I have a parent that's this and a parent that's that, you're describing to me your parents. You could be a
Okay,
black
because
person
can
with
I
a
just
white
say this?
parent.
I was raised by a white parent before I was put into adoption. I was raised by a white parent. I honestly don't know what I should say I am because I do have a black parent. But also, if I do tell people I am mixed or I'm biracial, they will say no, you are white. And I have been raised by a white person, um, and
Why do you think
like
that they say you're white?
I mean, they either say I'm Asian, Latino, white. They just say everything because I don't pass as black. It's
It's
just straight
not.
up. I don't pass.
That's not the only reason why. Mariah Carey doesn't pass as black, but the black community claims her.
Mariah Carey,
Mariah Carey, yeah.
like
Mariah
the whistle note,
Carey,
like Christmas girl.
yeah, she's black.
Okay.
Um, who else? Michael Jackson definitely didn't look black in the end. But Walter White is another one. Fard Muhammad.
Walter
So,
White,
somebody,
like from the
yeah,
fucking
Walter
show.
White, not from Breaking Bad.
Oh, not from Breaking Bad. Okay, I thought you
No,
meant from.
no.
Okay.
He was president of the NAACP for a while.
Okay, so what are you
There's a
trying?
few
Okay, what are you
people
trying to
that
tell me?
pass that passing is part of being black. It just means you're phenotypically privileged. The same way Kanye West is economically privileged. His bank account's like a white man, but he's still a black man. Just because your phenotype presents as part of the privileged people's phenotype does not mean that you are given access to all of their spaces. And you being denied access is because of your blackness, not because of your biracialness. And you know that because that's why you said one of the other black kids. So, just something to think about. All I'm saying is the reason that black people might tell you or reject you from their safe space isn't because your parent is white. It isn't because you don't look black. It's probably because you don't have enough pride in who you are to correct them or stand in your truth. And they can sense that, and it threatens them. It threatens their safe space when even a biracial person that passes or looks black isn't comfortable with who they are. Those people have historically sold us out. It's in our DNA to not F with people like that.
Oh.
Like Kanye, Candace Owens. We don't want them at the cookout. So the fact that you were raised by these white parents, actually, I agree with you that they shouldn't be raising black children. And the way that you were raised and the way in everything you just said is the reason why. Because it turns us around, the children around to where they're all in this confusion. If you were raised by a black mother, a black family, you might feel differently. Even if you passed, you wouldn't care. You would know, well, I'm black. We exist from chalk to charcoal. That's our people. We're the most diverse, phenotypically presenting people.
Okay, also, sorry if you hear something whining in the background. My dog just got spayed. Or I don't know if it's sprayed or spayed. I don't know what it's called. But she, what I mean. Okay, she's in pain right now. But, can you describe to me what phenotype means, please?
Well, phenotype is how you present. So there's an African phenotype: round nose, big forehead, big lips, dark skin, nappy hair. That's our phenotype. You got straight haired, pointy nose, thin lip people. You got the Asian phenotype. Those are phenotypes. That's how you look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what makes someone black is one of three. Well, there's three questions you can ask yourself. Do you have African ancestry? Your mom and your dad. For you, it's your dad. Mm-hmm. So, yes. The second question is, do you have the African phenotype? If you don't know your ancestry, but you look melanated and like you from the motherland, then cool. Just say yes to that one. You don't have to say yes to both. You don't have to have the phenotype and know your ancestry. But you gotta just know one of those answers. One of those has to be a yes to move on to the third question. Third question is, do you identify full time as black or African? And that question isn't here. So it's phenotype, it's how you present, genotype, what you're made of, your parents, where you come from, and then there's what you got in here. When black people, even though you have an African ancestry, know that you don't got us in here, that's when we become defensive. Even if you're black, even if you got phenotype and the ancestry, you could say, I'm no black, I'm Dominican, and we're defensive.
Oh, okay.
Can I ask? I want
Am I the one
what's
that's
going
making
on,
myself
brother
echo?
legend?
Hold on, y'all, just a moment.
Is that me?
Yeah, somebody got an echo. Y'all gotta mute up, please. Go ahead, sister.
Oh, is it me that's echoing? No.
No, go ahead.
Hey, was that me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
maybe
think it
just
was.
mute. I'm coming to you next. I'll come to y'all next.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wanted to say that I also agree with you. I don't think that's why that was my point. I said with when I did go into a like adoption system that there was only one other black kid. It was me, one
Alive.
other black kid. Her hair, they did not care. They did not care for it. They didn't know what to do with it. They didn't know the right products. They didn't know what to do with it. I mean, and all the other kids, I mean, obviously there was other races, but I mean, it was only just me and this other black kid. They would all just make fun of her for her hair being nappy when they didn't even take care of, like, didn't even take care of it at all. And so I was
That
like,
doesn't make that
I
doesn't
was just
make her
trying to say
black,
that. That's
but
why I
that
was
is
saying,
mistreatment. Yeah.
yeah, that's why I was just trying to say that I don't think non-black parents should be raising black children or what is pro-black? Because I've been ignoring what
Prioritizing
pro-black
one's
is.
actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. So, not all black people are pro-black either. But we could talk about that later, man. I just wanted to tell you some things that maybe you never heard before. Continue to grow and love yourself, man.
Thank you. But yeah, that was just my entire point on why I think non-black parents should not be raising black children.
All right.
Yeah, I think
All
that's
right.
it.
Thanks. Yeah, let me go to the next guest. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Prominent, what's going on, brother?
Oh, thank you. Back with my accent. Hello,
Yeah.
guys. I just go straight to the topic.
All
Can
right.
interracial relationships be pro-black? No, no. Because I'm African. I live in a white nation in Norway, and I see how it be. It be how it is. Because once you date someone who's not your people, it's because you don't value your people. That's right. I have friends. I have African friends here in Norway. Some were born here, and we talk as boys. We talk. They speak to me, and when I ask them, "Why is your girlfriend white?" What they say should not be heard by a black woman because it's disgusting. It's bad, right? And they have reasons. One will tell you black women wear wigs. Others will tell that black women are trying to bleach skin. They have many different reasons. They
Yeah.
just try to find a reason. So, especially black men, when you get a woman who's not black, you're working hard, you give her money. Some of our women are single. You protect her. Some of our women are not protected. And I again to give you an example, in Africa, my neighboring country called Angola, which is near Congo, is one of the richest countries with petrol in the world. But the president, called the Eduardo dos Santos, married a European girl from Portugal. And we don't know what happened. But the girl owned all resources, all petrol. And now today, as we speak, the petrol of Angola is controlled by the government of Portugal. That is bad.
Yeah.
Can non-black parents raise pro-black children? No, they cannot. Once they raise you when you're black, then you grow up. Don't love your own people because they shape you into supporting them. Of course, you support the white power, not black power. You know, and we see it in Africa, like Obama. Of course, Obama is American, and he attacked us in Africa when he was president.
Crazy.
Yes, he did. Yeah, in
Yeah.
Africa, he attacked us.
Yeah.
So, and of course, his mother is white,
Yeah.
and that's no debate. Non-black
Okay.
parents cannot raise pro-black children, and international relationship cannot be pro-black. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. That was a good segue. Appreciate that breakdown. All right. And I'll go to the next guest. Jessica, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
32, race or
Race
both?
and pronouns.
I'm white, and pronouns she, her.
All right.
So I agree and disagree because I am a white mother of black boys. And I feel like the only way I can raise them true to what's good for them is because I rely on my black friends or their black family. At a very young age, my oldest, he started telling me that he was not black. And at this time, we were living with my family. And it broke my heart because I see him like, no, you're beautiful for being black, for being you. So right away, I got my best friend, who is also my kid's godmom. She is black, and her family took me in at a young age and like really helped me mentally. So she's their godmom, and I made a will. They're taking my kids if anything happens to me. Also, my kid's father, who we're still with 13 years later, his family, his sister, okay? His sister is the definition of a queen. She barely knew me, and she signed on a lease with me so that I could live closer to her and her mother down there with my boy. She barely knew me, and she signed on a lease so that I could get the lease. And their family, I haven't had to buy my kids anything. They took care of me. They bought everything for my boys. But I still, I still contributed, but they literally every month, hey, what do you need? What do you need? The love I felt from my best friend and my boyfriend's family topped anything I've ever felt from mine, which is why I don't bring my kids around my family.
Wait, so your boyfriend's black as well?
Yes. He played baseball, so he was out of our first son's life for 4 years, and that's why I went down to live closer to his sister and his mom, because obviously, like I said, my son was saying he wasn't black, and he was getting mixed up, and it just broke my heart, and I was like, no, you got to be by your family. So I do think that white people cannot raise black kids if they do not respect black culture.
All right, so that's not the question. That can they raise black kids? Depends on your definition of raising, but the kids will grow, and they will still be black. So,
Well,
think,
pro-black kids. Pro-black.
pro-black is where there's a
Yeah.
nuance. All black people are not pro-black. So,
Yes.
when it comes to raising children, it sounds like there was a bit of a disassociation there at some point with you raising the black young men that you're raising. That's another thing. I'd be mindful of calling them boys, especially to their face. They're young men. Could
I
be
did.
a little bit triggering for
It's
young black boys to be called boy from a white tea woman. But also, when you noticed that they were disassociating, it sounds like you went and corrected that by bringing them around the community, which would be the nuance to that question.
What do you
So
mean by nuance?
the nuance is, it says, can non-black parents raise pro-black children? The answer would be no to what you just said, based on what you just said, because you brought them around the community and the community is helping raise them. So you alone are not doing it.
Correct.
But even at that, what is pro-blackness in your idea?
Oh,
How are
God.
you raising them to be pro-black? You think just raising them to give a damn about loving themselves makes them pro-black? I mean, that's what everyone should feel. Everyone should be that. That's just healthy.
Yeah, you should just love yourself. No,
Yeah,
pro-black to me is my son. He got a lot of messed up for wanting braids. And I'm like, buddy, that's your culture. Like, I understand. I don't know everything because, again, I'm a white woman, so I can only learn when I'm taught. So I'm like, there's specific things of why Black people have that. Not only because white people's hair shouldn't do it. Our hair is not that texture. Plus, it doesn't bend right, so it's harder to braid. But like, that's how they stayed safe. That's how they had food. Like, that's your culture. You should be proud of your culture for making it through what they got.
That's rough.
But again, I've had to, throughout the years,
Because
as he's
the culture
getting
you're
more
telling
and
to
more.
the culture you're telling that child, like, see, through the lens of just imagine someone like abused someone else and put them in a basement somewhere, and they had like wounds, and they had to put like toilet paper on their wounds. And then one day this person is no longer in that predicament anymore. You know, now there's neo abuse, neo colonialism, like, but anyway, now putting toilet paper on your wounds is part of their culture. And the person that is the reason for those wounds is telling you to appreciate doing that. I'm not saying that you telling as a as a white woman telling your son to appreciate a culture that was built around surviving what your forefathers and foremothers did to his people, a survival technique of running away from people like yourself, is kind of wild, in context. But in a pro-black context, specifically, you can raise your children to be black, but being pro-black isn't just celebrating your culture. Pro-blackness is aligning your actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. I would even say prioritizing the black community. So putting them in the black community is a step in the right direction. I can agree with that. But liking your hair is once again just the bare minimum.
How would a white mother, especially raising boys,
Be
do
careful.
better without as a mom, I want to protect them without showing them the world.
Right. I mean, we're currently in the midst of a silent, kind of almost passive genocide. And as someone that has the privilege of the people that are perpetuating that onto black people, this is one hell of a predicament for you to be in, that you put yourself in. And I cannot help you. I can't give you wisdom on how to get out of like a really wild situation. It's like it's really wild, like there's we're on a battlefield and people are getting unalived, and one person from the side that's like causing the whole thing to begin with adopt someone from the other side. And I'm trying to tell you, you can't raise them to be pro their side, because that's going to mean your side won't be the winner anymore. And
That's perfectly fine.
it's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So some deep stuff, man. Think she left? Might have got a phone call.
Oh, it's paused.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
It's like paused or something. But no,
Uh-oh. Yeah.
the abuse is why I don't go around my family, because it just,
That's not healthy. That's not healthy at all.
well, if they're going to hurt my kids, I don't care about them.
Yeah, but again, you put yourself in that situation. You could be still hurtful to the children too. So, and you know, that's why I said there's actually videos countering the conspiracy to destroy black boys. There's actually videos of scholars where, even as black people, we're mindful of how we address our children. I would encourage you to do some research on that, but for the sake of those children, or continue to do like you're doing and just bring them around more black people. But again, it's not you that can raise them to be pro-black. It would have to be bringing them around the community.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree,
All right.
but I just, as a white mom, want to help them.
Yeah, I know. Y'all want to help everybody, but good intentions pave the road to hell. So, all right. I'm gonna
Thank
keep
you.
it going. Thanks for coming up. African Advice, what's going on, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm well, man.
Just quick thing. I mean, I remember someone earlier was talking about, Angola for a bit. The last president though, Jose Eduardo dos Santos, now deceased. He married a Russian woman, not a Portuguese woman, and that was when he was living in the Soviet Union because, the Soviets helped, the Angolans fight the Portuguese out. They're giving them weapons and stuff. And the thing is, he actually divorced that woman before he became president because his party and the caucuses there made it very clear, you're not going to be president and married to her.
Wow.
So they ended up divorcing. And he actually married yeah. And he actually ended up marrying an Angolan woman. So that's actually what happened. And as for Portugal owning stuff in Angola, not since the debt crisis in 2014. Angola's been buying their shit up, so it's gone left for them. So yeah, I mean,
Well,
but
shout out to Angola for that one.
yeah,
I wish Senegal had the same nerve, but they don't.
Senegal. Oh, yeah,
The
but yeah,
Senegalese
it's
president, he's one of those. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
and yeah, some of them are a bit not as hard-lined as they should be, but I guess
Yeah.
they'll get there eventually. But as for the questions, so can interracial relationships be pro-black? No, obviously not. Based on the definition of pro-blackness, they can't. Now, can non-black parents raise pro-black children? And I guess we'd also include parents that are in interracial relationships,
I,
not
I don't
just that adopted black.
I don't get how it has to be
Hold
pro
on.
black
Don't
children.
hop in. Don't hop in. We go in order. Just a moment. Keep going.
But yeah, I would suppose a question would include people who are in interracial relationships, right? Not just like non-black people
And
who adopted
non-black
black children.
parents. I was really thinking, in terms of both parents being non-black.
Oh, well then no,
Um,
they can't.
yeah.
No, because it's I mean, because really, look at it this way. It's like, if I were married to a black woman and we adopted say, off the top of my head, a Chinese child, right?
Mm-hmm.
What could either of us teach that child about being Chinese?
Mm.
Nothing, right? Just like in the same breath, not two non-black parents are not going to be able to teach a black child how to be pro-black or
Mm-hmm.
to put their race first, because what would they know about that?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
That's like telling your child,
Yeah.
put strangers that look like you before me. Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like, what kind of parent is going to even do that? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
And I
that's not
wouldn't
going to
wish
happen.
any parent to have to do that, but if you were going to do that, you would have to do that. But they're not going to do that.
And that's the thing. And, when I see interracial adoption, it's like, it's not that I know some of those parents might really want to help those kids, but
That shit is
at the
slavery.
same time, that's the thing. When I look at it, I'm like, that kid's gonna have some serious identity issues.
That
I
shit is
can already
slavery.
tell.
When that last guest said, "My boy,"
My-
bruh, let me tell you, I was like, nah, let me see my voice slow. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll trigger everybody up out of here. We have 15 people in here because that was
Yeah,
crazy. She
when
said,
I
"My
saw that,
boy, my boy."
I watched enough of these lives where I'm like, nothing really surprises me anymore. So it's like,
Yeah.
when I saw it, I'm like, well, I guess another one. I guess I just
Not my
saw
son.
that coming.
Not my son.
My boy.
My boy. Yo, that was crazy, bro. That was crazy.
I guess it was giving what's it called, the Django movie?
Yeah.
Or Django Unchained.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I was like, I cringed a bit. I'm like, don't say that. You're gonna get called out for that.
Now you catch a glimpse of what my show was like, because I literally, like, especially when I first started out, it was like that, like one-on-ones. I bring people up here and they would say some of the cringiest shit, and I would still just try to unpack some of what they said and then just keep it pushing, just try to get some value out of them for the brothers and sisters that are watching, so that they can see, how we respond to these type of things. Don't be surprised when they show their true colors. It would be foolish for us to not know who they really are when they present themselves, because we already been here for 400 years. Like, is racism still a surprise for y'all? Like, they don't get it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. And just another thing though, I mean, like, and I know it's not reaching too much off topic, but it sort of ties into it. I mean, because I remember you had a question a few weeks ago. I think it was something like, can, I guess, biracial people or half black, half white people, can they be pro-black, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was something along those lines.
Can biracial people, what was the rest of it? I'll tell you.
Be pro-black. I think it was something along those lines.
Nah, I never said that.
Oh.
Nah, I would have said, can you be pro-black with a non-black spouse?
Or no, non-black parent. Non-black parent, I think it was. Yeah, that's what it was.
Well, it might not have been parent. It would have been, can non-black people be pro-black? Was it that one? I don't know.
I swear it was
or can non-black parents raise pro-black children? That's the one I got up here. I'm not sure. Because can a non-black, I mean, you could say a non-black parent. Can a non-black parent be pro-black? I mean, answer to that is still no. Anything non-black can't be pro-black, bro.
Well, yeah.
I know you know. But
yeah, it's like, because I guess it's like, because I felt like it was, it wasn't up there for long. I can't remember the exact words, so I might be putting my foot in my mouth, but I don't know. But even with that being said, like, half, when they have one non-white or non-black parent, or can they, put the interests of the black community first? And, obviously when we talked about pro-black before, when I first got on your live, you said that it's like, for example, if I want to see the progression of Africa, right, and I'm married to a non-black woman, that's going to be tricky, right? Because,
Right.
if I'm putting the interests of my community first, it's going to be at the expense of them, right? And that they
Right.
might be compromised, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they are compromised, though, right, I do feel that, because,
I would say
parents
you're
are,
compromised. If you have a non-black spouse, you're
oh,
compromised.
you
'Cause
are compromised, not the
yeah.
child in particular.
The child,
I feel like they could
that's,
be.
yeah, the child could be. No, the child could be, but the child would be because you've already compromised them. Now they have to choose between their people or their mother.
That's the thing. Like that's why that's the thing I was gonna get to. I feel like, and I know this might cause a bit of a stir. I don't know, but I feel like people with a non-black parent, in regards to being pro-black, it's not that they want to be compromised, but I feel like they are inherently compromised.
Yeah.
It's just they're inherently, like, their very existence is compromised within the scope of pro-blackness. I feel it is
Yeah.
because, I mean, look, most people love their mothers, so if you have to choose between anything else and your mother,
Right.
that's gonna be a tough choice, regardless of how good, the cause is. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel
Absolutely.
like that would be a problem. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. And I'll go to Gunna Show. I think Gunna was next.
Yes, sir.
What's good, brother?
What's going on, brother? How's it going?
I'm well, man. I hope you're good too, man.
I'm doing good, man. I come on, take my breaks, step away, keep my mental straight, and
I
come
heard
back.
that.
Well, you pretty much know my answer. I did want to say, the African beneath me was bringing up some really good points, right? This is kind of my spiel when I come on your platform, right? As I am a quote unquote biracial, but I am a black man, and talk about kids with children or young adults or adults with one non-black parent being compromised. It's absolutely true, right? It takes much more work to do as a black child with a non-black parent to end up being pro-black. I wouldn't say that it can't be done, because I feel that I've done it. But when I tell you, it is a very hard road. It's a hard pill to swallow. And I've had this conversation with you on this panel. It's a very hard pill to swallow to love my mother the way that I do, but understand that in the war, I've already had to choose my side.
Yeah.
And to be able to have that serious and honest conversation with her, in a very real and tangible way. And again, to the question about can a non-black parent raise a pro-black child? Absolutely not. Of course, they can raise a black child, right? Because, like, as you said, the child's going to grow up and they're going to be black regardless of how well the parent does raising them. And that kind of goes to Jessica, who was the white mother of black children on here. The best thing that she can do, right, is just be as selfless as possible with her children. She's in this predicament. There's not any undoing it. But and the other thing that she has to do is accept, right? If she's really putting forth the blackness of her children, she has to accept that she is inherently somehow the enemy, even to her own children that she loves. Right, and I think that's what
it's a hard pill to swallow. I know
it's a very hard pill to swallow, and I think to your point, and that's why when we talk about this on your live, why we understand that it's so hard, because again, knowing that race is a social construct that we're not operating under. Yes, as a human, in absence of race, this stuff wouldn't be as difficult as it is, right? She would be able to be a mother with children and that just be what it is. But unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. We live in the 500 years of this racial construct where she is inherently the enemy of her children before they were even born. Right, and that wasn't the intent. The intent was to love this man and have children with this man, and X, Y, and Z. But unfortunately, this is the system we operate under, and that it is a very hard pill to swallow for the parent of those children and for those children. Which is why oftentimes I would make the argument that most quote unquote biracials are not pro-black, even if they do recognize their blackness. Even if they are, they live a black life, to be pro-black, to put their blackness before their own parent, before half of who they are, before half of their own makeup, is the real hard pill to swallow. And most people, I honestly don't think they do it as much as they try to say they do. And then I'm gonna wrap it up. I felt like it was coming from Mr. Toxic. I know you're gonna circle back around to him, but
Yeah.
because he came in hot and heavy. I already felt the energy. The energy felt like it was about to have something to do with pro-blackness and why you got to have that, because he's coming from a place of pro-blackness means anti-white. Our culture isn't set up in that way. Pro-whiteness is anti-black. Pro-blackness is not anti-white. So they're not the same. I could be wrong, but his energy, that I just went to his page and the energy felt like that's where it was about to come from. Like, why do black people got to talk about being pro-black? Because when you're at the bottom of this social constructed hierarchy, we have to put ourselves first in order to ever climb into our liberation. So
I
that's
heard that.
important. So that's it. I'm gonna jump back down to the comments. Keep going.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. And y'all, please tap like, keep tapping like to protect the live. And let's get the likes up to 30K. We almost there, 1K more. And we'll turn the moderators will turn the comments back on. Appreciate y'all for tapping like. Just as you listen along, keep tapping like. Fill up the little bar in the top left. And once we get to 30K, we'll turn the comments on. Appreciate you. Mr. Toxic, go ahead. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
40. Well, obviously, it doesn't really matter what color or race I am. And pronouns, I don't believe in that shit. I'm a man. But I'm a God-fearing man.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Toxic, you need to stop.
Yeah.
It's
The other
simple.
thing
Age,
is I don't
race,
understand
pronouns
why
to start when you jump on the panel. Everybody has to go through that process.
I
If you
didn't see
can't do
that
that,
written down.
what's coming for you is coming, which is these 5 paws.
What is
No. Hey.
Good.
Goodbye. Thank y'all for the Panther pause. Appreciate y'all, because we knew where that was going. And that's the thing about the live is we be having so many useful conversations up here, discussions. It's not a debate live. So when people come up with their little bias to, dilute or distract from the conversation, it's so easy to spot. We can see it a mile away. I don't even know why you come up here to do that. Now, that don't mean you can't come up here and disagree. All discourse is welcome. But if you can't answer age, race, and pronouns, please don't come up here. Age, race, pronouns. We're talking about race. We need to know what the context of what you're saying is, because we're talking about this social construct of race. Don't come up here and act like a social construct that exists all throughout society and permeates the entire globe does not exist because you don't want to talk about it. That's weird. You're up here to talk about it. So let's talk about it. All right, so I'm going to go to the next guest. I'm going to start near the bottom. I'm not sure who was really next.
I said that he been waiting. What is it? All the way at the top with the hat?
Oh, at the top, Brandon, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Okay, yeah, I'm 35. I'm black. My pronouns, he, him.
All right, talk to us.
Okay. To answer the questions first, can interracial relationships be pro-black? No, because that is completely against what being a pro-black is. So I don't think that would make any sense. And can non-black parents raise pro-black children? So with that question, are we talking about 2 white people, or are we talking about like a black person and a white person together?
Yeah, that's interesting. My brother African Advice channel brought that up, and when I put those 2 questions together, I took them off another live where I had 4 questions, so I guess it kind of made it simpler. But no, the second question means non-black parents, 2 non-black parents, not biracial, not interracial parents. Because I mean, if you want to answer that question, you could as well, but the question is for not 2 non-black parents.
Okay, I think for both.
Okay.
If it's two non-black parents, and if it's an interracial, neither one can raise a child to be pro-black. The only, like, for example, the interracial relationship, only the black parent can raise that child to be pro-black, obviously, because white people don't understand or go through the struggle that black people go through. But I do want to say this.
and I don't want to go too far off topic at all, but I do want to say, when it comes to black people, we have this knack for accepting mixed children as black, even though the differences are pretty clear physically and socially within the black community. And I feel like it's self-sabotage in a way, because say like the white lady that was on here, what she should do, if you're in an interracial relationship, whether you're a black man and a white woman or a white man and a black woman, you should teach your biracial children about both sides of what they are. And they should represent both sides of what they are and learn about the history of both sides, because that's what they are a product of. Does that make sense?
Typically, biracial people are black.
My microphone died. Go ahead, D. Talk to him.
Typically, all black biracial people are not a light, fair-skinned individual. And even with that said, based on the fact that they're judged by their phenotype, it very much shows that they are black. They're not going to be accepted into that other group or race of individuals. So even to exclude them out of a community in which is going to understand exactly what they're going through, now you're creating a whole nother divide in our community. Like, how are you going to say someone's not black?
Because the reason they're not accepted in other communities is because when you look as racial, if you look at the Japanese, they're like 90% homogeneous, which means they typically mate, or is it the Chinese? I forgot. It's one of them. They typically, like if you look at Tiger Woods, the Chinese people do not claim him at all. They don't claim any mixed at all. White people don't claim mixed because it will dilute and confuse their race. Because if you have this mixed girl and you put her in a crowd full of white women, and that mixed girl says, yeah, I'm white like y'all, it's going to completely confuse the entire people. And that's what's happening to blacks. Because when you break it down and you look at it, when you look at mixed children and mixed people, their struggle is completely different. Let me give you an example. Black women's struggle and mixed women's struggle are completely different. Hair, everything, completely different. But yet those mixed women can identify to be the same as you. If you put 9 black
Please
women,
let us know what is different.
Let's see. Okay, what's different is
what is different. What is?
I'm sorry.
Different. What is different, but not just a privilege other black people can also have?
What we see with our eyes, physically. The mixed women don't look anything like black women at all.
So you're saying what? Name one physical difference. What do white people have that black people don't?
White people typically have thin noses and thin lips.
There are brothers and sisters on the African continent with thin noses and thin lips.
There are biracial people with thin noses and thin lips, not black people.
I know, but you said different. If I'm telling you that Africans also have thin noses and thin lips on the continent, that's not different. That's just part of being black.
There are anomalies in all races, but when you look at the majority of white people,
there is no anomaly in our race because all races come from black. So every physical attribute of any other race comes from the continent of Africa. It all exists within the black woman.
So if everybody's black, then if a white woman and a black man has a baby, then that baby's black. That means that white woman is black too, right?
What?
You're saying that white people are black, right? Are you saying
white people? Confused with? Yeah, I'm confused by you. So at the end of the day, right? One of the ways that race is even construction is based off of phenotype. It's not the only way that you determine the blackness or it's determined, but it's very interesting in the structure that you eliminate the same people that are part of your community. Like, why do you go out of your way to say that black biracial people are not black? When in society, they are very much going to have a very similar experience as you.
Because what happens is they become a part of our community is because we put them a part of our community. So white people tend to look at them and say,
why? You think that's why? Wait.
Yes.
Hold on. You think that biracial people are considered black because we want them in our community, like we accept them into our community? Is that what you're saying? Is that the
Yes,
reason
and
why?
yes, and that's why white
So
people don't
no,
accept.
no, no. Wait. Hold on. How come we don't accept? You know what? Would you say Bill Clinton was black?
No, but black people said he was
Or
black
black
because he
people
played.
accepted him and put him in office? Would you say Joe Biden is black?
No,
Okay, so, but black people. Would you say Eminem is black?
no,
Because I'm trying to understand because you're saying that we are the reason why biracial people are black, but we didn't invent the racial caste system that that subjugates us all. Like we didn't create the idea of race. And do you know the reason why race exists? Do you know what the forefathers that came up with this construct? Do you know what their plans were?
what's that?
Well, it shows itself, it reveals itself in some of the ways we call ourselves, right? Or some of the ways we've been told to call ourselves. Do you know what a person of color is?
Any person that's any person that's not black. I mean, not white.
Any person that's not white. Now, why would they have a name for everyone that's not white?
Because white people did that because it's going to keep their race pure.
Exactly. So what is a white person then? A person without color?
But that's my point. Though.
But here's the thing. Biracial people can't be people without color and a people with color. How can you have without and with in the same person? So if they are a person of color, then they are the color that their non-white parent is. And so that's just how that works because race was not invented to be a neutral category by which we all just classify each other. It was created to keep whiteness pure. So why the hell would white people want white people with black parents in their whiteness when they created it specifically to keep blackness out? And when they keep you out because of your blackness, that makes you black. That's what defines you. Indian people are Asian because they're not included in the white community because of their Asianness. If you're not included in the white community, whatever that reason is the reason you are that race. So if you're excluded from the white community because of your blackness, because of a black parent, then that's how that works.
But that's how you stay in power. Asians do it also. Asians do not claim mixed Asian people. If you are Asian and black, they will not claim you because you're going to mess their entire race up. You're going to confuse the entire race.
What you're saying is, do you know the history of the Congo?
No, I do not.
See, that's what I'm saying, man. Some of the stuff you're saying sounds just like the colonizers. That is disgusting. If you knew more about the history of the Japanese people that came to the Congo and what they did to our sisters there and how they treated their children, my brother, you would not be saying we need to move like them. That is horrible. What you're saying is ignorant as hell.
Look at it.
Bro, just look it up. Don't defend it, bro. I'm telling you, you're going down the wrong path. You sound like Schmittler right now.
I'm not defending it, and I will look it up. But I'm looking in modern society of how unfair it is that you can take a biracial person to claim to be black, even though we see with our eyes there are differences and they have different advantages than we do.
No, they have privileges because of their proximity to whiteness, because they're phenotypically privileged. That's just a privilege. Black people have privilege. You have privilege because you're speaking to me in English. So are you not black? To brothers and sisters in the Congo, you speaking a white man's English almost is so clear that white people can hear it and understand what you're saying is a privilege. You're not black? You got white dollars in your bank account right now. A lot of brothers and sisters don't have that privilege across the world. So they blacker than you. So you see what I'm saying? Like we're not going to start measuring blackness because we all oppressed. Some of us have a little privilege, but that privilege wasn't something they chose. That privilege is given to them by their oppressor. And so that's not reason why we should exclude them and further marginalize and split up and divide our community based on the privileges that they have. There are black people with privilege, and some of them got a white parent. But if you claim black full time, I'm going to accept you as such. Shout out to everybody that sent them Panther poems. Go ahead, Gunner. Go ahead. I'm gonna let Gunner talk. That was crazy about the Congo, bro. He was that was crazy.
Wait,
man's was that?
you know,
Whose
I
man's was
enjoy
that?
these debates and I try not to personalize them, but it was hard for me, brother, sitting in your comments, hearing someone on your panel deny me access to being black. Like that, I guess I'm white enough to be white. I never knew. I never knew. I don't understand why I didn't get called on more in school. I don't understand why I wasn't getting chosen first. Like, I should be able to go back and tell my teachers I was white. Why was y'all treating me like a black boy? Like,
Yeah.
don't you know I'm not black? Why are you doing this to me? You should treat me like my white mother. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. Call
Like,
up Experian. Tell them that
yeah,
I'm white.
so here's the origin, the counter or argument to the origin of us all being African, therefore everybody's African, right? Yes, in theory, yes, we know that we're all from Africa, we're all from the mother continent. From there, people dispersing over time due to distance close to or away from the equator, and certain phenotypes tend to proliferate in certain areas because of food, environment, external forces created certain phenotype expression across the globe. Yes, so at that point, you now have physical phenotypical expression that is distinct enough to where we now have the Portuguese come along and create races around those boundaries, right? But at the same time, this is why they started adding to that process, like with grandfather clause rules and one drop rules, is because even they didn't have the forethought or knowledge to know that black people from the continent could still produce every genome on the planet. So they're thinking, oh, you always got a wide nose, you're gonna always have a wide nose. Then they got two black people over here, they made it together and came out with a thin nose, and like, wait, how did this happen? Oh, because black people create all genes. So therefore we have to say, oh, well, even if you look like you have some proximity to whiteness, we have to still include you in black because your mother is black or your grandparents are black, right? That was the whole fear of the royal family, is that even though Meghan Markle is very white presenting in passing, right, they still know that she has a very dark-skinned mother. And there is still a chance that that baby cannot come out and look like her and Prince William, right? They now know this. That's why we have this lineage. So to try to separate out or segment out biracial children as non-black is just crazy to me, especially if they live by the three pillars of the three questions for Pan-Africanism, right? And now it's one thing if a biracial person is out here saying I'm biracial and that's their personality and identity, or they're trying to be something other than that kind of black, then by all means we can have the argument that they're not black and they're not pro-black all day. But to just do a clean sweep across the board and deny biracial people access to their blackness as if they actually have access to whiteness was just crazy to me to sit there and listen
Based
to.
on the same rules that white T folks deny us access to, being in a parts of society, having access to power, and you know what I'm saying,
Right.
in our own society, we're now basing who's in and who's out on phenotype. When all of these phenotypes come from the continent, you could be being a lighter skinned brother doesn't mean that you are biracial. There's lighter skinned Khoisan people from Africa. They look
Right.
just like you. If I put y'all all in a lineup, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So you can't use that.
And I also wanted to, I do want to add, this is my own kind of like working theory, is that because this argument comes up a lot of times with biracials or people who have, lighter skin, even if they're monoracial, but they have Eurocentric features, because monoracial couples can create Eurocentric features even when they are black, right? We now know that. This argument that we have privilege, right? I would argue that it's concession, right? Because privilege is given to white people, no one can take away their whiteness, right? The concession that lighter skinned people have, or even black, white presenting or passing people have, is that they have the concession into certain resources, but as soon as white people decide to deny that, they no longer have it. Therefore, it's not a privilege, because privileges aren't taken away unless a whole system comes down, right? So even me being light skinned, I may have concessions, even in the workplace or in other circles that my more melanated brothers don't have. But the moment white people want to take that from me, I no longer have it. So therefore, it was never a privilege. It was only a concession. The only way, again, I get a privilege is if that system itself comes down. And as long as those systems are in place, no black person, no matter how Eurocentric they are, no matter how well-spoken they are, has privilege. We have concessions that are given to us at the discretion of whiteness in power to do what? Create these divisions. Because at the end of the day, like OJ said, it's still nigga.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so that's it. I'm gonna jump back down. I'm gonna let y'all have it some more. All right, brother.
One love. And that's another thing I would direct y'all to. There is no hierarchy of oppression by Audre Lorde, one of our womanist scholars, where she says no one in our group benefits from the oppression of another member of our group. So even when they do take advantage of those concessions in a world that has taught them that they can survive by wielding a power meant to disparage them, biracial brothers and sisters only do detriment to their own community and themselves inherently. But I'll go to the next guest. I think it's this person, White Silence. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Yeah, before that person go, let me do a mod commercial real quick.
Okay,
ma'am, listen, we got 255 people in the live. We need everybody tapping the screen. If you tap long enough, you're gonna see a red ball show up. Once you fill up the ball, it's 100 likes. Tap until you fill that red ball up 3 times. Let's get to 55K likes. Share the live with up to 10 people. Make sure you gifting the host legend. He got 7 out of his 20 hearts so far. Gift the host, support the gift goal, and make sure you gift the co-host the Diva. Keep tapping the screen, y'all. Every hour we should be able to be up by 30K likes. It's that easy. If y'all tap the screen every 10 minutes or so, we can easily reach those goals every hour. And that's all I got, man. Go ahead.
All right, appreciate you. White Silence, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Good evening, sir. I'm 32. I'm white. My father is German. My mother is Tunisian. I live in Germany. That was all right. Oh, my pronouns, she, her. Yeah. But what I want to say first, I think the lady above me, she has been writing in the comments that she wanted to talk urgently. So I'm not sure if maybe she could be going first, if that's okay for you. Because she's been for a long time that she wanted to talk something. So I can still wait though. But I just want to clarify because somebody said in the comments, I mean, like, my mother is a woman of color, though, but I navigate the world as a white woman. That's why I said my race is white. So, yeah. If it's okay, I would love to say something after she's done, though.
Okay. I think it's Kay. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yes, I'm 26. I'm Black, and I'm a woman.
All right. Appreciate you. Go ahead. Talk to us.
Yes, so I kind of, to start my, I guess, conversation, I wanted to ask a question for clarification. It was based off of a conversation you were having with somebody else. And I kind of wanted to ask, are we talking, when it comes to biracial people, right, are we talking Black phenotypically or genetically?
Genetically doesn't exist. So there is a African or Black phenotype, but there's no such thing as a Black gene.
So chromosomes, when we talk chromosomes, we all know, or we should all know that we take half of our chromosomes from our father and half of our chromosomes from our mother. Exactly. So do we not believe in that, or?
34 from our mother and 32 from our father. But again, that's not a race genetic. Race and genetics together is eugenics. And that is what white people use to say that Black people were inferior. And also the Ish people in World War II, So race as a social construct does not mix with science or biology at all. That's not a thing.
That's interesting that you say that, because so then to that logic, that would mean that it would be common for me to have a child with blonde hair, straight hair, and blue eyes, since race is technically not a thing.
There are
Race does align with genetics. So
there are blonde-haired children in Africa. There are blue-eyed children in Africa,
common?
and there are straight-haired children
though?
in Africa. So that's why race and genetics don't mix, because we have all the genetics, and then there's recessive traits that get passed down to certain people, that got passed down rather to certain people that adapted to an environment and continued to pass on those recessive traits. But recessive just means that we have the full package, and they kind of went in a certain area and took only certain pieces of the full package to make a different phenotype. So that's why there's no such thing as black DNA. You have to understand that the African continent, genetically, under a microscope, chromosomes, if you will, is the most diverse continent on Earth. That when DNA tests have been done with chromosomes, Europeans are more closely related to Asian people. So a man from London is more closely related to a man in Japan than a man from East Africa is to a man in West Africa. You look at the two from the man in West Africa and the man from East Africa, and it's almost like they're from two different parts of the world. You would not expect them to be from the same continent. Africa has the most genetic diversity, but because these other races have more recessive genes, they've narrowed down their phenotype so that they're more closely related to the people that left Africa 100,000 years ago.
So then by that logic, what I'm saying is,
that's not logic, that's science. That's science. That's not logic, that's science.
I understand by
it's not like
what you're saying.
Conceptualizing things. This is readily Googleable right now.
I understand what you're saying. So by then I won't use the term logic since you disagree with that term. So then by what you're saying is that it would be equally plausible for any race, quote unquote, in any genetic diversity to have any other type of, it would be equally plausible. That's the term I'm focusing on. For any race, quote unquote, in any genetic combination or diversity, I'm using those terms specifically based off of what you're saying, to have each other's race, quote unquote, in genetic diversity. If race within itself, which means a genetic and DNA haplogroup, or phenotypically presenting DNA structure, right? It would be equally presenting amongst any type of people that you're any type of people in the world is what you're saying.
Fundamentally, you're so far off now that I've got to stop you.
I understand that you're understanding.
You've already like skewed like to Mars. I'm trying to like bring you back in because you're saying like you clearly missed the purpose of what I just said. You're not computing. I don't know what's going on right now. So basically, there is no such thing as race genetics. We got to stop doing that. If we want to talk about human beings and genetics, we can talk about that. There's no such thing as black genetics because black people have all the genes. Other people have the same genes we have, but they've diluted or narrowed it down to certain phenotypes because they adapted to different regions of the world. So that's not race genetics.
I think I do understand then. I think I do understand.
The original Britons were black people.
I agree.
And you can look up Cheddar Man. That's an example. They've reconstructed what the original Britons looked like. They were black people with blue eyes. We can have blue eyes as well. There's black people from the continent with blue eyes. What happened was they adapted to their environment, and they basically narrowed down their phenotype to fit a certain mold. But it is a piece of what they took from Africa. Everything came from
I agree
Africa.
with
It
that.
starts with black people. There
I
is
agree with
nowhere in
that.
the world where there was white people first and black people came after.
No, I agree with that. Okay, so then I think we are just saying something. We're saying kind of the same things. We're arriving to the same point, just saying it differently. Because I agree with everything you just said. I agree that everywhere, no matter what continent you start on, it all started off black. There was just something that was tampered with to narrow it down to something odd. Because maybe odd is the wrong term. I'm sorry. But narrow it down to something that is not natural to
It is natural. It's
existing.
just there was different circumstances. I wouldn't argue natural. I wouldn't argue
I
all
can
of
agree
that
with
other
that.
stuff. I would just say that they adapted to a region because, for example, brothers and sisters, black people that have darker skin that live in New York, when surveys have been done, they are more depressed than brothers and sisters that even live on the African continent. Why is that? Because our skin actually blocks and filters out UVB radiation from the sun. Their skin actually, because they're from places where the ozone layer is thicker, their skin is lighter and accepts UVB radiation a little bit easier. UVB radiation is what gives you vitamin D. So we are happier when we're in the sun. They, however, are more accustomed to being where there's a thicker ozone layer, and they also, stay inside a little bit more. And so, because of that, they had to adapt that way. Otherwise, they would experience, depression and all this other stuff. Like, it's more than depression, but vitamin D deficiency and all this other stuff that was not cohesive, or for lack of a better word, to them being in that environment. It wasn't beneficial for them in that environment. So that naturally is why they would evolve to have different, appearance. But it's not just for the. It was functionality more than appearance. Form follows function.
So I want to ask you a question then. Do you believe that technically it would be, because I've taken a couple of genetics classes in college, and I was always taught that it is a mutation to your environment. So would you agree that the mutation is
or adaptation?
Yeah. Okay.
It's definitely not evolving.
That's a nicer word.
Yeah.
Mutation.
Mutation.
That's a nicer word. Okay, we could use that.
No, it's not evolution. I said not evolution. Not evolution. Adaptation, or what's funny about the evolution thing? Have you ever seen Darwin's scale, where it shows like a little monkey and then it goes to a bigger monkey, then it looks like a Bigfoot, and then it looks like a white man? Mm-hmm. You ever think about that?
I was always taught, when I was first taught about Darwinism back when I took anatomy A&P in college, my first anatomy A&P class, it was introduced to me as a racist theory, where he attempted to try and prove that, black people and white people were not the same, so that we were the ones that came from animals.
Well, that's not what his chart showed us. His chart showed us a little monkey, a bigger monkey, Sasquatch, and then a white man.
That's what I'm saying. But
it's kind of like revisionist history, where it's like they're showing evolution evolved to a white man, skipped over 300,000 years of black people on the continent of Africa. But the last one looks like Paul McCartney. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Okay. But
Well,
I had a question that was all of that was going to lead into, and I forgot it by now. So I'll pass for the next person, and I'll probably just raise my hand and if I remember.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Appreciate you. The next guest. The other person left, huh? Interesting. She gave us a whole rundown of her life story, and then she left. Manasseh, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Yeah, age 34, race black, pronouns he and him.
Okay. And talk to us.
Man, y'all was having such a beautiful discussion on genomes and phenotypes. I almost didn't want to come in, man. I was enjoying that. I'm so proud of my people for being very scientifically inclined. Go us, right?
Yeah. I hear that.
But to answer the question, can an interracial relationship be pro-black? As much as I want to say yes, I know that that's a no. And can two non-black parents raise a pro-black child? That's a definite no. And the reason why both of those are going to be a no, I know some really good, YT people. I've dated some really good YT women. I don't have a problem with them. But on a massive scale, we got to be real. Most of them are not going to teach a black child what it means to be black. Most of them do not have a compass for what that means. And not to throw anybody under the bus, because I don't do separatism or nothing like that. But if you look on TikTok, YouTube, anywhere, heck, even in real life, you're going to find a lot of horror stories of biracial children talking about the white side of their family. It may not be their parent. Usually it's the grandparent. They at home and that their grandparent says some off the wall stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they either confused or they don't, they're not completely with us. And that's not all of them, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but that is a problem that I do see. I saw a video a while back, and I'm not going to meander on too long, of a girl who basically talked about her folks was calling us all kind of N-words, behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that because I hate for us to all have to, you go this way, I go that way. I really don't want to be like that with everything. But God dog it, some stuff in this world, I see that. And, I could even segue to the music industry. I had a girl ask me, she said, why do we come down on some of our, some of the people in our community for some of the bad things that we doing? Well, and I said, well, the reason why is you don't understand who's pulling the strings. I hate to say it, but it's a YT person running black culture. A lot of people don't want to hear that. There's a lot of black people that get upset, but y'all tell me if I'm wrong. We don't control the music that's being made.
Hey, I know that firsthand. You don't even know. I know that firsthand. So I absolutely agree with that.
So it's a lot that goes into it. And if you are a white person that does have a biracial child, I would say the only thing that you can do is raise your child to understand their blackness. If you're a white person that doesn't even have a black child, if you're dating somebody black, you have to understand that the tumultuous race relations, if you want to call it that we have had over the years, I hate to say it, has caused some schisms. And you're going to have to recognize that we personally do not want to have to put race in front of everything. But just as I want to say there was a biracial brother that was speaking, some minutes ago, like he said, this is a construct that we did not create, right? We didn't do this. So we're just navigating through this. And all we can do is attempt to figure this thing out and come out in such a way that we're not on the bottom anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why I land my plane.
Can I say something to what he said? When he said that they go this way, we go that way, even that understanding is sad because that means that we cannot, if black people can actually be themselves fully, we cannot coexist. And it kind of proves the very point of how we in so many ways kind of move around other individuals just to survive.
I heard that. I also wanted to highlight, brother, how you said you want to say yes to the first one. And I'm you know, this is something I've unpacked in my own personal life, and I've spoken about it a few times on this live. But we as Africans, as Black people, believe in things in their purest form, and we come from a long line of humanity, and you know, there would be no humanity without us. Our culture centers around humanity, and sometimes the reason I think we want to say yes to that first question, and I'm glad you didn't, brother. You definitely have the critical thinking to know better. But the reason we want to say yes to that first question seems to be that we seek some type of humanity from them that we see in ourselves, because we just hope that they have a slither of what they told us they had in their, you know, in their Bibles, you know, their politicians. We believe in democracy. They don't believe in democracy. We believe in Christianity. They don't believe in Christianity. If they did, none of the stuff they've done have reflected that. You know, because we believe in the humanity in things, and so pro-blackness is pro-humanity. So how could humans not be for humanity? Well, they haven't shown us they are. So we have to accept them for who they are. But I appreciate you coming up, man. And I'll go to the next guest. White Silence, give us your age. Oh, you gave us your age, race, and pronouns. Welcome back.
Yeah. Well,
talk to us.
Hi, good evening, sir. I will gladly say it again. I'm 32. My father is German, white. My mother is Tunisian. She's a woman of color, but I live in the world as a white woman. That's just how I see the world, or how I live. My pronouns are she, hers, she, her. Also, I'm not an English native speaker, please forgive if I make any mistakes. However, I saw the questions, and well, the answer to both of these questions certainly is no. Although I was thinking that you were referring to maybe a relationship of a Black and a white parent, if they can raise pro-Black children, which from the side of the white parent, like it has been said here, or the non-Black parent, has to be a no. And I would like to say one simple sentence for that, and that is like, Blackness can only flourish in the absence of whiteness. And that refers to everybody. And that's kind of like a hard pill to swallow, like the Gunnar show, I hope I said that right, said earlier. As white mothers to children that are seen and received and treated as Black in the society, we need to understand that our kids putting themselves first can indeed mean that they're deciding against us. And that is something so hard for white people to do, because, like you rightfully said, white people have not been very human. They have not been very, what makes a human human. Like, we've literally shown the world that we are the impersonation of devils. Like, white people brought no good to the world. Let's just be plain and simple. That is not shit talking, that's just the truth. So at the end of the day, if I want to see my children flourish, and I want to see my children proud in their Blackness, I cannot do such without the help of their Nigerian family, without the help of the Nigerian community that they come from, without the help of course, as primarily figured their father. Of course, my husband is the one that is teaching them about Blackness, for the simple fact that I cannot. I think what many, many white parents fail to realize is love is not enough. You can love your children all day long. It's never going to be enough if these children don't live the same living reality as we do. Like, how in the world am I ever going to understand what my kids are going through if we are not even seen as mother and daughter while navigating the world? Like, I know for a fact how many times I've been complimented for adopting children. Meanwhile, these are my biological kids. I carried them under my heart. And of course, like, the standard for white people is literally in hell. Like, actually, we expect a mother to be loving and caring, right? And that's where we end it all. But in white people's cases, loving and caring isn't enough, because you need to, first of all, decolonize your own whiteness. You need to understand why your whiteness is, in its plain existence, a plain threat to your children's mental health, to their safety. You need to understand that as a white spouse, you can, in the blink of an eye, be a direct threat for their physical and mental safety to your black partners. Like, everybody knows what happened with women that, you know, cried out for help, fake tears, white women tears, are known to put black people's lives at risk at any given second. That doesn't stop just because you're lying. It doesn't stop at any given chance just because we need to understand that our mindset is what has to start decolonizing ourselves.
You got an echo. Swipe down the top menu of your phone and swipe back
You
up.
need to mute and unmute 2 times
Damn.
to YT silence. Mute and unmute 2 to 3 times so the echo can stop.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No idea what the hell just happened. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. No idea what
It's back.
happened.
Yeah, you might have to just drop for the panel and come back, because that happens sometimes. Because you got a call or something. So just drop from up here and come right back up.
You have an iPhone? If you have an iPhone, just swipe down the menu from the top of your screen. Up, she dropped.
iPhones are very troublesome. Don't get them.
Yeah, iPhones is trash. I always say that.
I feel like she was cheating, though. I feel like she was cheating. She was spitting facts, but she cheating because she's a mother from Africa. Mother from Africa.
Shit, sorry. Yeah, my mother is Tunisian. I'm so sorry.
So that would make you not white.
Well, yeah, I get
don't want to get into it. I'm not about to have you go through a whole identity crisis up here.
No. I'm good.
But
good.
They're right. Tunisia is a very colonized place.
Yes.
But
that's the point.
however, whiteness
yeah,
whiteness. If you ain't
colonization is still very much present, and you know the problem is it would just not be authentic and real to claim something that I am socially not. Because when you look at me, I mean, my profile picture is right here. You will see that I am not.
When you minimalize race to just identity, you confuse what the meaning of race was actually for. Like, it's not just how you look. There are people that look like you and claim they are fully black, and we accept them in the black community. Yeah. Not saying that you're black because you're from Tunisia. True. I don't know if your mom is Arab or some West Asian or something like that. That's neither here nor there. What I'm saying though about whiteness is that you having a non-white parent doesn't instantly classify you as white, but you can pass and maneuver that way in the world. I'm sure your last name isn't white. Is your last name like Jennings or something?
No, it's my last name actually comes from my husband through marriage, of course. It's Nigerian.
Before that?
No, it comes from my white father though. So my maiden name is indeed a white name, yeah. But why I said that is because when I look at I was born and raised in Germany, okay? So throughout my whole childhood, whenever I encountered racism, it was always in direct connection to my mother, not to me as a person.
See, that's the thing. The fact that you encountered racism at all means you're not white.
Yeah.
White people don't encounter racism. When we tell them racism exists, they say, no, it doesn't. It's over. What are you talking about? So the fact that you encounter racism means you're not white. But at the same time, you pass. That's what we call it, passing. It means you're able to pretend to be white and everyone will believe you until they find out about your mother. And then that's going to limit your access to certain privileges, of course.
In Germany, we call it white passing too. But I somehow read from an American blogger that the term white passing for black people or black mixed people. So that's why I didn't want to use that term unrightfully, probably.
Could you swipe your menu down and swipe it back up? You keep getting calls. Swipe the menu down, swipe it up. She went down. But yeah, well, it's not just for black people. There are Asian people that pass with a white parent. There are many other people that pass. But the thing that I was saying earlier is whiteness is exclusionary. And whatever reason you are excluded from the community is the race that you are. If you are excluded from the white community because you have an Asian parent, you're Asian. If you're excluded from the white community because you have a black parent, you're black. Figure it out. But y'all go ahead and figure it out. I mean, another thing, I'm a student of Dr. Chancellor Williams. I don't believe there's such thing as Middle Eastern people. Middle Eastern is a European colonizer's term. They're West Asian. But we could talk about that another time.
But just a quick thing though. You know,
yeah.
When you talk a lot about like, you know, this whole racial exclusionary thing, like, you know, like the guy that was up here earlier, I think he got booted. I forgot his name. But I think it's like with some half black, half white people, I think there's gonna be some disappointment, you know, I think, if they go to the continent and visit, because I mean, I remember you yourself, you said that there's some people here on TikTok, some African creators that you're actually beefing with over this issue a bit, right?
Oh yeah, no,
and
there's Africans that won't even accept me. Both my parents are black, and they won't accept me because I'm American. So
that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like in some African countries, and that's the thing, I have to be honest, and I want a lot of, you know, very pro-black, you know, biracial people to be prepared for this. Just like, you know, you have the concept of, you know, racial exclusion in the Asian countries and white countries. To a large extent, it does exist in a lot of African countries because they are racially homogenous. So, I mean, they might not treat you badly, no, right? But if you go there, you know, and you are clearly mixed with something other than black, they might not identify you as one of them all the time. So I guess I wanted to clear the air, and I just wanted to, for anyone who's in the chat watching, I don't want them to be disappointed if they go there and encounter that.
Even if you're from the continent of Africa, they might not consider you one of them because of what tribe you're from.
Even that, exactly. Even then, yeah, it's a lot of division. Yeah,
not being included in every space is part of what makes you black. So no matter if they could every African brother and sister that lives on the continent, even off the continent, that want to tell me I'm not black, could all stand in a line outside of a big stadium and come one at a time and tell me I'm not black. I'm gonna still tell them get out my black ass face and go somewhere with that, because I don't care. You see what I'm saying? So,
you know, you stand 10 toes down, and that's good. And
that's what
you know, it's like,
I mean, to be honest, ain't nobody gonna tell me. You know, and I understand that the continent does claim us, and so, you know, but there's
you know, most Black Americans. Most Black Americans, they'll claim them. Like, they will claim them. I'm talking about, like, I guess what you would say racially ambiguous people. Like, who are, I feel like if they go there, like, if someone, for example, who even looks like Malcolm X, for example, or similar to him, or like, you know, if they go there to certain countries, they might not be received as, like, you're gonna have your Africanness questioned a lot.
Yeah.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want them to be prepared for that.
Yeah. No, but that's what's beautiful about Africa, is that Europeans act in oneness.
and make other people conform and assimilate into oneness. Africa is diverse, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I think all the biracial brothers and sisters need to be perfectly fine with that. Everyone's not going to agree with you. Everywhere you go is not for you, but you're going to have your people there. That to me, that's beautiful.
Yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go somewhere where everybody got to be from the same place. Everybody got to be look the same. Everybody like that. That's European. We don't do that. You know, spirituality, even African spirituality, is individualized. My spiritual journey might be way different than your spiritual journey because we didn't use religion to create oneness and everyone has to believe the same rules and everyone, you know, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go to the next guest. The mod says it's Lee. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, Lee?
Yeah, I am Welsh. I'm 42, and I'm sure I'm echoing. Am I?
No, you're not echoing. I wasn't going to you yet, Maz lady. I was going to Lee real quick. I'll come to you next.
Oh,
One
sorry.
moment.
It's okay.
Lee, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
I'm 20 and I'm black and I'm her.
All right. Thank you for coming up. Talk to us.
I'd like to believe they could, but in this day and age, I don't think they can. But I'd like to believe they could because they're human and, you know, they have a heart. They're able to learn how to raise a black person, but they can't because they probably don't have the amount of, like, energy and soul. Like, they don't have the same, like, I feel like they wouldn't be able to raise a child in terms of they use their brains more than they use their hearts in terms of, like, for example, adopting a black child, or like, I don't think they usually, I'm on both sides because a white person could, but at the same time they can't because they don't have, you know, the same skin complexion. They haven't been raised by a black mother or black father. They don't understand how we feel in certain places, and you like it just, I can't just pick a side because I'm able to be on one side and then I'm able to be on the other side because white people, their skin doesn't define them. In my opinion, I feel like we're all human. I feel like a white person could raise a black person because they could learn about the culture.
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Oh.
Be careful. Be careful. I mean, it's like you're steering a very nuanced conversation. Don't run it over a cliff. It says, can non-black parents raise pro-black children? Not black children, pro-black children. You understand?
Oh, could you define what pro-black children?
Prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building the black community. Children that would embody that sentiment are pro-black children. Prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest above all other interests of building the black community.
I think, like, I believe they could, but
you're gonna have to show me proof, sister.
Yeah, I know.
You
But
really,
I believe they could, but they
and it feels like you have Christianity somewhere in
no,
your,
I'm not religious.
in your DNA, you know, because it you know, they told you that, you know, the son of your God was white, and
No, I'm
they
not
told
religious.
you that. They told you that, you know, that they had some humanity. They didn't show you that humanity. They didn't treat you with that humanity, but they told you they had this humanity. So that's
No.
why it's hard to fight what you've been told your whole life. But that's called cognitive dissonance, when you know something and you act differently. That's cognitive dissonance. That means that you see what things are, but you act like they're not there. So,
Okay, I believe. Yeah, I understand what you mean because we have a lot of history and it gets passed down. So sometimes, okay, yeah, you're right. Never mind.
We have the most humanity. Africans worldwide. I know my people been off the continent for 400 years. That ain't nothing. That's a drop in the water of time. That's a drop. But we've been off the continent 400 years, but we still practice a lot of our African value system, a lot of African traditions, a lot of African culture is still in our blood. It's still what we do. Even as Americans speaking in English. We speak a certain type of English because, an immigrant from China can come here and have children. Those children will speak English just like a white person. My people have been here for 400 years, and you can still tell the difference over the phone if I'm black or not because we speak with a certain dialect. We never let them get in here. So that being the case, what I'm trying to say is that we are taught to see humanity in others, and then these others present themselves as people with humanity, but they've never shown us that humanity. They only say that they have that humanity for political reasons. But we as African believe in things in their purest form. If you tell us this is a democracy, we're going to believe it's a democracy. Let's vote ourselves out of oppression. Let's vote ourselves out of oppression, y'all. All we got to do is vote because this is a democracy. They told us. And then they told us that, if you have good intentions and you believe Jesus died for your sins and you follow the 10 commandments, then you'll be okay. You'll go to heaven in the end. They said that for political reasons, but for our humanity, our spirit, the spirituality that we put in that religion is what we believe. We connect with that, but they've never shown it back to us. So, that's
I
the thing.
believe
I'm quoting the Dr. John Henry Clark. I don't know if you know who that is, but yeah.
I believe what you said because as melanated people, we get sunlight, and you need, like, there's something from the sunlight that we get that.
Uh-oh. You're muted, sister. We can't hear you. You're muted, sister. Hey, man, if anybody, everybody tap like, first of all. Let's keep tapping like, y'all. Let's get to 80,000 likes. We have 62 right now. Keep tapping like, tapping like. Appreciate you. Lee, mute and unmute. Or I'm about to go to the next guest. I really appreciate you coming
brother.
up, though.
She probably got a call. Because when they go out
Okay.
like that, they normally got a call.
Yeah. But if anybody want to know how much humanity is being shown to us, look no further. If you're in America, the Caribbean, wherever you at, you can look out. You can look on the news and see where's the humanity. Appreciate you, Maggie. But if you really want to know, look up what's going on in the Congo. I'm now, because everybody wanted to get geopolitical on me and talk about Palestine, I'm going to start telling my brothers and sisters more about the Congo and Sudan. Let's talk about it, y'all. The Congo and Sudan. Look up what the hell is going on. Since everybody's geopolitical now, look up the Congo and Sudan. Absolutely. Right there in the comments, somebody got their name. Shout out to that brother or sister. The Congo and Sudan. Take a look at that and see how humane your oppressors are treating your people. It's the deeper. Oh man, get into the history of the Congo. It's going to nauseate you. You think the history of black folks in America is bad? You think that's bad? They ain't do us like them. We can talk about that another time. And check out b1initiative.org. The link is in my bio if you want to learn more. We're doing work with brothers and sisters on the continent to spread awareness. So do check that out. We're doing more than just talking shit on TikTok. All right. Who's next? Oh, Maz Lady, give us your age rate. Who's next, Alicia? I think it's Maz Lady. Maz Lady, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Okay, so I'm a she. My name is Mary, and I'm 42, and I'm white. I'm Welsh.
All right. Talk to us.
Yeah, so I believe as a mother, if I was to adopt any other I'm going to say skin color, even though I don't like saying a sentence. But
No,
I
don't say that.
believe,
Don't
as
don't
a
say that.
mother,
Just don't say that. Don't say
sorry,
that. Not any other
as
skin color. Just any other race.
any other race,
We're talking about
I
race. Yeah.
believe, as a parent, if you love your children, no matter what, you're going to go and you're going to make sure that they understand their culture, where they came from. You're going to make that extra effort. You're going to go to other countries. You know, you're going to really give them that full experience. You're going to ask people for advice. You're going to be integrating on lots of different sites, making sure that they do get in touch with their real selves. So for me, I do believe it can be done, but at the same time, I do agree it's going to take someone who can put their own feelings aside and what they've been taught as a child up, because they have to put their child as a priority, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
So you're saying, all right. So
So
you're
you,
saying
yeah,
that you can raise a child to be pro-black
yeah.
if you put. All right. So what is your definition of pro-black?
Right. So for me personally, um, the spiritual side of things, I wouldn't say it's a religion. I would say the beliefs have deeply connected feelings, the way of life, what they've been through, how they've got to where they are today. It's a consistency of everything that makes up a person, isn't it? It's lots of things. There's not just one
Hmm.
thing you can put it down to. It's a lot of things.
Okay. Um. All right. Where did you get that definition?
So when I look at myself and I look at my own
Hmm.
beliefs and everything and what makes me who I am today, it's part
Yo,
of
what is
how
this woman talking
I've
about?
grown up, you know?
Bam.
I don't know. Hold on. I know you sitting in the pause. Up. She gone. All right. That's how y'all want to do it. I'm gonna leave it up to Leisha. All right. When me, myself, and I says the pause, we gonna. It's up to the moderators if y'all want to do it. Oh, and somebody else sent some. Okay. All right. Shout out to everybody that sent the pause.
That to what she was saying, that's the most dangerous thing is I think with YT individuals, especially those that adopt, is it's not about the children,
Mm-hmm.
it's the best for the children. And that even in the understanding that you
Yeah.
might be providing the best environment, but when your children are surrounded with everyone that does not look like them, because quote unquote you're providing this amazing environment, you are still harming that child in more ways than one. It's not always about what's best for you and your comfortability, but it's actually how those children are going to thrive or lack thereof in the environment you place them in. And a lot of y'all are dangerous because you don't understand the history, you don't understand the context, and you don't take time to learn anything. And it's even worse when you do care, which I think anyone that loves kids, has empathy for kids, will care. But the issue
Mm-hmm.
is that at what point in time, and I'm going to keep saying this, at what point in time in history has anything ever been addressed that there be a level of correction? That means that Black people are still in the war. We're still fighting. Because at what time, you tell me what point in any school system have they broken these systems and actually went out of their way to educate all children? Why do I have to teach my child to avoid your children? Think about it.
Yeah, that's real. Um. Yeah, I think she was just suffering from that same mayonnaise. Appreciate everybody that sent them pause though. Thank you, Sister D, for that. Everybody send Sister D some pause, man. She up here doing some work, and send some to speak as well. That's my co-host, my brother. He come up here and help me run the show, keep things in order. Um, Lee, I see you back up here. Did you want to land your plane from earlier?
You guys open my eyes on this topic because I believed in that. I believed that a non-black parent could raise a pro-black child, but in reality, if we look at it in a like we're on Earth right now, it's it's clear that it won't be able to happen. I'm glad you guys opened my eyes on that, because I tend to use my heart a lot and believe a lot of stuff, but I'll come back to reality, and reality is a non-black parent can't raise a pro-black child.
Yeah, not in this world. You're right. Not in the current state of the world. We're not saying it's impossible, but it'll be possible when white and black no longer exist. So we're talking after race as a caste system meant to subjugate Africans is no longer here. And when someone calls you black, you're like, what do you mean? Like, you talking about my clothes? Like when it is gone from everyone's minds, anti-blackness is gone. So that might take 2,000-3,000 years. That's not today. Today it's still going on right now. So
like I personally, I don't think of race as a division, but it's here, so I can't I can't blindside myself because it's here.
Yeah, it's here. We can all look and see the humanity in everyone, but unfortunately, as long as like we can't have peace, right? Me and you, right? Like me and you cannot be friends if I say you're not my friend. You can say, well, we're all human and we're all friends. I see you as my friend anyway. I don't really care. And I'm like, no, I'm not your friend. I'm your enemy. Are we friends? We're not friends, because in order for us both to be friends, me and you both have to be friends. I have to agree that you are my friend, and you have to say I'm your friend too. So those two people are friends. But as long as you keep saying you're my friend, you're just delusional, because I'm telling you I'm not your friend. So, that's how that works.
Can I ask a question to Dee and to you about kind of a statement that I said when I was on here earlier?
Give us your age, race, and pronouns, Jessica.
32 white, she, her.
All right. Go ahead, talk to us.
So it was about kind of how to, like, I want to say, Dee, get me wrong let me know if I'm wrong, but it was kind of about how to, like, fix the conversation or have the conversation. And I said that I'm no longer around my family because of their racism. And you said that wasn't necessarily a good idea.
That's toxic. I didn't say it wasn't a good idea. To be honest, adopting black children wasn't a good idea. But cutting off your parents, no matter what the reason is, that's toxic.
So what do I do? Because I've had conversations to them blue in the face and they don't change and they don't stop their negative behavior. So that's why I just cut them off. But do I keep, like, what do I do?
See, that's the thing. I'm not saying you shouldn't cut them off. I'm saying cutting them off is still not healthy. You understand? It is bad for my health for me to cut my arm off. Even if there is a reason I have to cut my arm off, it is not going to be the best for me physically to have to remove my arm. Now, if the reason I have to remove my arm is maybe an infection because I stuck my hand somewhere I shouldn't have, then it is still my fault that I'm in the predicament where I have to cut off my arm. But I would still say cutting off your family is still not healthy. I hope you go into a therapist about that. That can't be healthy for you. It can't be. And of course, it can't be healthy for your children to be raised without grandparents because their grandparents don't like their race. Again, it's just toxic. So toxicity is passed down through the children. I can't imagine being raised by a white mother in an anti-black world and her parents are so racist that I don't have grandparents. That's hard to identify with and say that's my family. And even if they do get to the point where they can say, I love y'all and y'all are my family anyway, what does that say about them? That means that at some point they have to accept a hatred of themselves. Not saying that they'll hate themselves, but they have to accept people that hate them, or accept that people hate them no matter what, even if they're family. It just gets so deep. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take therapy. Why do we put ourselves in situations where this therapy is needed? I don't know. I think it's just, some people think we live in a post-racial world. And this is why we come up here and talk about it, so that some other people can just think a little bit more before ending up in certain situations,
Okay. And how do I, besides putting my kids in the Black community, help them not have to do as much therapy as I have to do?
They're going to need it regardless. It's too late. It's too late. They'll need it regardless. This is you know what I think about, and I want to take this away from you personally, because I don't want to make you the center. But I would say Madonna, for example, that her situation. I think about those children, and I'm just like, this is messed up, man. Honestly, we're too fresh off slavery for y'all to be adopting Black children. It's just not right. It's not right
So I do
yet.
want to
It's
clear it up. They
waited a
were
little
born from
200
me.
years, man. It's a little too soon to turn around from fresh off plantations. I mean, fresh. My father picked cotton. His great grandfather was a slave. We are too close for y'all to be turning around and loving on some Black children. It's too soon.
I do want to be clear, though. They're biologically mine. I didn't adopt them. They're biologically my children.
All right. Well,
So it's hard. I'm trying to
it's
do the best.
good that you call them Black. Don't call them your boys, but it's good that you call them Black. Call them your sons or something. I would say, yeah, get them around the Black community. Understand your privilege in Black spaces, and yeah, get them around some Black folks. Because if they center their identity on loving their Blackness, and not, if they love their Blackness in an anti-Black world, then they can handle anti-Blackness. But if they love their whiteness and see their Blackness as something that keeps them back in an anti-Black world, that's going to tell them to also vilify and look at their Blackness as something wrong, then that's when they become confused and dangerous to our community and starting not to feel accepted by us. And it just turns into this whole other monster identity crisis when they're like in their 30s or 40s. It gets real bad. So you got to teach them to love the Blackness and see themselves as a Black person, white parent. Your white mom loves you, white people don't. That's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. Thank you. Like, literally, I just listened to you guys and I want to
Legend,
take
I
it in.
want to say something to this lady.
Okay, but before you do, let me just ask my question. So, Jessica, do you only date Black men?
No.
So the men that you're dating right now, he's Black?
Yeah, he's the father of my children.
Okay. So let me ask you this. You came in and you're trying to understand how to educate yourself in regards to your children. Why aren't you having a conversation with that man?
Oh, I do. But so like for you, men and women talk very differently and understand things very differently. So I go to my best friend who's Black a lot of the times and ask her, what is he saying? And then she kind of translate, well, this is how I would take that in the Black community of what he's saying. But again, he's a guy, and men kind of have, there's a different language there that they're speaking that they don't understand. So I have to get him to repeat himself a lot. And that's just...
No. See, me and Brother Legend and Speak, we can all talk to each other and have this same conversation. So the Black man you paired himself with, he might not want to be. I keep saying, it's very interesting when you meet Black men that date outside their race. And in the conversation, you're telling me y'all can't sit down and have an honest conversation, because understand, you sounds like your boys are young right now. So your babies are young right now. But what is the reality when it's time for them to drive? What is the reality when it's time for them to go to school and they get called the N-word? What is the reality when someone shows up and it's like, oh, where are you going? You're in the wrong place. Which I have family that is Black biracials, and they very much have had experiences where they thought they were welcome. They were with all their YT friends, and guess what? You're the one that's in the wrong spot. So they're reminded, even in the presence of or showing up even lighter, that they are the other. So that conversation with him is essential because he's the person that you're the most intimate with.
Yeah.
And the man that I'm with, I can talk about anything from the sky to the moon. So I'm asking you one of the most essential things that is the essence and the livelihood of your sons. How is that not a conversation and you having to go around and communicate? That's what I mean by we have never reached a place in this country where Black people have actually been able to be human, and we're still in the war. Because you're in this conversation and you got to go to someone else to translate a conversation that has to be had to protect your babies. That's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. I mean, that could be on me and my white privilege.
It's technically on the brother. I was blaming you before when it was the adoption
Yeah,
scenario,
I
but
just want to say, I'm gonna let y'all
that's
finish up, but
you
I actually
blaming
want
the
to say
black
something
man
to this
for
lady
that.
because there's some certain things she kept repeating, and I ain't rocking with that. But I'm gonna wait, Legend. Let me know when I can go after you done.
It's the black man's fault because he's supposed to know the things that I'm telling you right now. We already know that you don't know. It's called white privilege. So certain things you're not going to know. The fact that now everyone has to educate you is the fault of that brother that did that to put this situation together. He's the producer of this film. Go ahead, speak.
So I'm gonna be short, ma'am. Excuse me, when non-melanated people call black people boys, especially men or young black men, that's extremely disrespectful. The fact that some of y'all have been in this panel in conversation today and y'all keep repeating that term, boy, and you're doing it on purpose, basically, where you keep being checked for it. When Emmett Till was unalived, I'm pretty sure he was called boy. Before George Floyd was unalived, he was called boy. That is a slur against black people, especially black males. You say you have black mixed kids or what have you. Be mindful of how you talk about your kids. If they have that Africanness in them, stop calling them boys. They're your sons, black sons. You are not allowed to say that. That's
I hear
extremely
you. I'm
disrespectful,
sorry.
and you're
I didn't
offending
know.
me. Hold on, I'm not done. You're offending me by hearing you say that about your kids. That's disrespectful. When cops unalive black people, especially black men, black males, they ensure that they throw the term boy in that. What you say, boy?
Yeah.
Just like Massa was grabbing up slaves, throwing them back on a cotton field. Come here, boy. You are not allowed to say that, miss. Be mindful of your verbiage when you speak of your black children or mixed children or what have you. Any of y'all people who believe in interracial dating. That's the problem. You cannot say boy when it comes to a black male.
No, I hear
That's
you.
all I
And I'm
got.
sorry. Like, legit, I'll put that on me. I didn't know that that was offensive. I always said it as a term of gender. Um, but I will change that verbiage. Like, thank you. Like, I can only do when I'm educated. So
You
thank you.
make sure you do that because you said it several times and other people on the panel did the same shit. Make sure you do that.
No, literally call me out because I love that. My best
Go.
friend does
Did
it
you
to me
already
all the
tell her
time.
what
Thank
book to
you.
get, brother? They were her
What?
property. They
Oh,
were
they
her
were her
property.
property. Yeah, check out that
Yeah.
book. They were her property. It talks about how even in spaces when you're surrounded by black men, you're still the one with privilege. So, I know a lot of frosted females love to say they use frosted feminism against black men as a way to vilify their masculinity. And so, in a way, I would just encourage you to avoid doing things like that. I don't feel like you have, but I'm just saying that's another little side note. Is that there's a book called "They Were Her Property" about the relationships between black men and frosted females during the institution of enslavement and afterwards. So,
I'll read it. Thank you. No, thank you.
all right, y'all. I think that was somewhat productive. I hope y'all got some value from that. And I'll go to the next guest. Who we got, Alicia? Let me know, sis. All right. Amir, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
My age is 24, race is black, and pronouns is he, him.
Thank you. and give us a word. Talk to us.
Well, honestly, I mean, my input was a conversation we were having earlier. I was just listening to what we were speaking about, but I don't know who this hoodoo and head wraps person is. And
Talk about
I
myself.
don't. I mean, she
Hold on.
Watch
just.
yourself.
Not too much on hoodoo.
Watch
I'm just
yourself.
I'm just asking who she is. I'm just saying she has these takes on saying that
Just watch
white.
yourself while you're on this panel. You already started. You about to get those paws. Watch
Yeah,
yourself.
just watch
What?
But
it.
continue.
Don't come at black women. What you got to say? Just talk
I,
about it. Don't
well,
talk
she
about that.
said you got. I was just bringing up the point that earlier you guys said, mixed people are black, and I see that she's brought up the point that white women can't have black children. So I'm just wondering, is that kind of
Oh well,
that
I
kind?
think that's a personal belief of hers. We
Okay,
don't.
that's kind of just what I was wondering. But I mean, another conversation I was bringing up earlier, I was going to bring is that do you actually believe that tribalism can be dismissed in Africa? Because I mean, I feel like that is one of the biggest obstacles that will be is a major factor to the pro-black movement.
No, not at all. I don't think so. I think the reason that tribalism exists the way it does currently is because militias are funded by Western powers in order to keep a chaotic environment in a place that would normally tax them for the resources they steal from Africans.
Okay, yeah, I was just
If there was
wondering.
a
I
government
mean,
in place in the Congo, that government would tax
mhm.
the hell out of Elon Musk. It would tax the hell out of Bill Gates. It would tax the hell out of the United States. Everyone takes from the Congo. Everyone takes from Africa. And they do that. They thrive off of them not being a government because they're able to fund militias, give them weapons that are not made in Africa, and have them go and fight in order to keep chaos and anarchy. So
Were tribalist issues occurring though before European powers?
no, not to the extent that they are now. There were wars that were fought, but there was a lot of respect, a lot more respect, a
For sure,
lot more respect. And
for sure.
there were treaties, there were constitutions that said everyone was equal, including the servants. There were including the women. There was a lot more gender fluidity. If we want to talk about ancient African history, you are on the right live. There was a
No, no,
lot,
no, 100%.
and
Yeah, yeah.
so
I was just wondering.
once there was conditions of scarcity, and also modernity was stifled by the West. Modernity meaning technology, and you go to certain parts of Africa, it's like you're traveling back to the 50s. Or I wouldn't say the 50s. My bad, y'all. No shade. At least the 80s. And the reason is because their innovation was stifled by a lack of resources because of the West. So if I take all your resources, it's like a game of Saw. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Saw,
For
where
sure.
Jigsaw never unalived anybody, but he put two people in the room and took away all their options except for sawing off their own leg. You can say that you did it to yourself. But yeah, that's not really what's going on. We know the West has a hand in all of that.
No, 100%. I just wanted to hear your take on that because, um, yeah, yeah, but no, that you make a valid point that obviously morality, even in morality in war and morality in tribal treaties, has just changed a lot. And there's obviously been a mass influence due to European powers applying pressure on certain groups, and that's where the
Goes
disruption
all
occurs.
Yeah, it
And
goes
you talk
all.
about Sudan earlier. I'm not super versed in what's happening in Sudan right now again, but isn't it is
Same
that not a?
thing. The
Yep, yep.
Sudan just had a report that came out that the people in the Sudan, I'm not sure exactly who it was in their leadership, but someone in the people in the Sudan were saying in this report that they're blaming the West for the war that's going on. Once again, they're saying that
100%.
two proxies have been set up in the Sudan to fight a war against each other, but neither of them are fighting for Sudanese people. One is funded by, I believe, Russia, and the other one's funded by the U.S., the West, and the U.S. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
they're fighting for outside
It's a
forces.
classic tale.
It goes all the way
Yeah.
back to the slave trade. Goes all the way back to the
Is
slave.
Sudan though? Don't they have like a weird like superior? Some of the Sudanese have like almost like a superiority complex against other Sudanese due to like feeling like they're Arabized.
And that's another thing that goes back to the slave trade as well. If you know anything about the
Yep.
Rwandan conflict, you know that that was stoked by the West as well. And you also know, like I was saying, all the way back to the slave trade, the Europeans would have a high demand for enslaved ancestors, and when they couldn't get enough, they would just come to your village and say, sell us your enemies, or we'll give them pew pews, pew pews,
Uh-huh.
and they'll sell you to us. So which one would you prefer? You get the pew pews and sell us your enemies, or we'll give them the pew pews and they'll sell you to us. Um, and
Yeah,
so
for sure.
then they turn around and say Africans sold themselves. That's how they do it.
Okay, yeah. And I've met some North Sudanese people too, because I know you have a lot of more of the Nilotic people in South Sudan,
Yeah.
and the North Sudanese people. Yeah, I mean, I've met these Arab, quote unquote, Arab North Sudanese people. It's like Somali people when they claim to be Arab.
Mm.
It's like these people are African. Like they are not. I
Arabs
mean, obviously, Somali people and North Sudanese people, they in a genetic conversation they call it Afro-Asiatics,
yeah.
but because their genetics comparably to like a West African, we are like we're not Afro-Asiatic, we're just African, but
Arab is
they
not a race. They try to
yeah,
make it a race.
yeah, Arab is not a race. It's a I mean, Arab started from a group of tribes that are not even
Right.
inherently native to that region,
Right.
but I don't know. Yep, that's just what I wanted to hear, bro. I just wanted to hear your take on that because I've debated that in my mind a lot. It's just like the tribalist aspect of Africa, but
Yeah.
obviously that could, it's never going. Tribalism isn't ever going to go away, but the extent of the negative practices that are associated with it might, obviously change.
We've existed peacefully we without oneness. Europeans operate in oneness because they all came together to subjugate the rest of the world. But actually, they
Hmm.
didn't really come together that much because World War One, World War Two, Europe is always, even now, Ukraine, like they're always at war with each other. That's their version of tribalism. It's the same thing, but
Yeah,
they
100%.
still exist peacefully. And why do they exist peacefully? Because they have the resources of Africa. If Africa had their own resources, could keep their own resources rather, and and just live off of their own land instead of giving it all to the West, um, that resource-rich environment would stifle the violence that you see. So yeah, they might not like each other, but everybody gonna go home and say their air conditioning, TV, and kind of call it a day. We're not
Hmm.
about to. You see what I'm saying? But so yeah.
Do you believe this can be done in this reality that we're in right now?
Absolutely, it's
I
been
think
done
it
other.
could be done, but it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's been done other places. It's just every time Africa tried to do it, it's been disrupted, and the reason it's been disrupted, because understand that Africa was coming together before Europe. Africa was coming together before Europe. I'll say it again. Europeans did not see themselves all as one people until much later in the 17th century. Back to the 13th century, Africans had already formed the Kulakan Fuga, which was the constitution of the Mali Empire, where even people that were not part of the empire were seen as equals, and they were beginning to form an African identity. You can look this up in the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization by Dr. Chancellor Williams. And I believe Sheikh Anta Diop talks about it as well if you look up his lectures on YouTube.
Thank you.
I was gonna have one more question too.
Uh-huh.
Um, what reality? I guess this has to do with Arabs on the continent as well.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel there is a middle ground that can be met with Arabs on the continent of like because I mean, do you feel they play a role also in the obviously they play a role in the oppression, but do you feel like that's gonna also be a massive factor to the progression?
be honest, to be
Kind
honest,
of a
for
complex.
me,
I mean, I don't know how complex it
more
is,
about
but
sub-Saharan Africa and the Sahel region.
mhm.
Um, when we get to the North and East Africa, I think we just got to focus on sub-Saharan and Sahel for now. And once we get more power to those people, we'll see what happens with the rest. But a lot of brothers and sisters have been too Arabized to even join the movement, so that's a whole thing. And here in America, we've been too Europeanized. Europe and Europe and West Asia.
You good.
Yeah, they got us mentally. So it might take a while, to be honest.
Yeah, I just like to bring that factor up because I think a lot of the times we forget they're kind of in the same general region, and they also do play a role in the oppression.
Oh, they do. Yeah, absolutely. But we can stop that oppression. We can stop that oppression. It's just we just got to get power to our people right now. The Bantu, the Niger Congo. You know what I'm saying? The brothers and sisters in the Sahel region. We got to get power to the black people of the continent first. Let's turn on the lights and then we start seeing how we gonna move with them. You know what I'm saying? Right now, as a pro-black man, what you're saying is more anti-racist because we're talking about another community. Anti-racism is great; they work hand in hand. I'm more focused on just building in our community because I know if we can get the black part of the continent to wake the hell up, then y'all, and I'm talking to y'all in the chat, all my African brothers and sisters, y'all waking the hell up will set the rest of us free. Y'all waking the hell up sets all of us free. So we waiting on y'all.
100%. So I'm gonna be dipping out of here shortly, and I appreciate all your
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I blinked out there. I'm at work right now, so I kind of blinked out. But
One love.
someone had a question for me, and I just want to make sure I can answer it. And
No. Nobody has a question, bro. Just keep it moving
okay,
so we can get to the next person.
All right.
okay, man.
All right. I appreciate you. Peace. The next person is Hillary.
Real quick, hold
Is
on,
it
bro.
Go ahead.
Real quick, man. In terms of a mod announcement, it's killing me. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Tap the screen. Fill up that red bar 3 times. Let's get to 110K likes. We did not meet the likes goal in terms of being at the top of the hour. Let's get to 110K likes, y'all. Tap the screen. If you tapping long enough, you're gonna see a red bar start to show up. If you fill that up 2 to 3 times, that'll get 300 likes per person. We could get to 110K likes sooner than later. If the likes is not over 110 in the next, let's say 20 minutes, I'm gonna remove the comments. Tap the screen, y'all. Tap, tap, tap. Gift Legend, the host, support the platform, and I'm gonna shut the hell up, yo. Some of these people on this panel, bro, I don't understand how y'all do it, but let me shut the hell up. This ain't my live.
This is what I'm
Can
trying
I
to. This
ask,
is
how do I
job.
drop without leaving the live so that we can have other people in here? Like, how
Okay.
do I drop so that I don't
Okay. I
have to
got
like
you. I
close
got you,
TikTok?
Jessica. Thanks for coming up.
Oh, did she leave?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, you got it.
Is it oh God, what is it? Lee? I want to just say, I want to ask you this. You said you were on both sides, right? And I found that interesting. So I want to ask you, if there was a war and there was black people on one side and there was YT people on the other, do you think it would be good for you to stand in the middle of it?
I think she was past that.
Um, I kind of learned from this already, but what I
Okay,
do.
so no, I didn't know if you had understood earlier when brother was talking. So when you said it, I didn't get to say anything. So I was wondering if you understood. Like, I mean, it's good to be a person that wants to be neutral, but when it comes to our livelihood, that's impossible.
I was only neutral because I was using my heart to see life, but I have to use my brain because obviously the world is shaped differently now. So,
Oh, baby, it's not a now, it's always.
I mean, as long as we're conflicted and there's race, the world's still gonna be this way. So, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna stand in the middle. I'm definitely gonna be on the side that I, you know, my skin color. So
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but okay.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest. Um,
Would you like to say?
Hillary, your age, race, and pronouns, please.
38 black. See her.
Thank you. And talk to us. What's up?
So,
Appreciate
I,
it.
non-black parents raised pro-black children. And I'm not going to lie, when I was younger, I really, really wanted to believe this to be true because my adoptive father is black. Or I mean white. Sorry. My adoptive father is white. My biological father is black. And so I really, really wanted to believe that that's a possibility. And it's not. It's really not. My kid's stepmother is white. It's not a thing. It's not that the culture is not there. The having putting your best interest first is something that can't come from somebody that doesn't have that same best interest. I don't believe it. I understand where a lot of these parents are coming from, but it's my kid and I love my kid and of course I want the best for them. I hear you, I really do. But as somebody who has a parent that doesn't get any of that at all, they took me to Joe Louis Arena and they introduced me to music and they really wanted to do all of that. It's not real. They don't get it. Nobody ever taught me how to be a black woman because they hadn't experienced it. And nobody taught me how to, support black business and stuff like that. And my child's stepmother, for example, still believed rumors about, voodoo being in New Orleans and old lies about the Black Panther Party. So as much as I would love to say, yeah, they can raise a pro black child, even if, they have one black parent, I haven't seen that to be the case. So I just really wanted to bring that point of information out there. I'm very much against transracial adoption and things like that. I don't like it. I don't want nothing to do with it. And so I just wanted to bring that up. When I've seen all these people, I get that you love your kids. I believe you do. But I do not think that you can raise a pro-black child when you are not yourself black.
Sure.
And that was really all I wanted to add because I understand where these parents are coming from and I believe they love their kids. I just don't think that's possible. And that's really all I wanted to say on that.
All right. Well, thank you, sister, for sharing that.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. One love. Who we got next? Leisha. All right. Thank you for getting us to 100K. White silence. Oh, she disappeared on us again. She's gonna come back with an echo. Everybody, thank you for getting us to 100K likes. Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. All right, let's go to DJ. Vic, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yeah, what's up, man? I'm 47. I'm Mexican, and I'm a guy.
It's not a
I don't
race.
know, Mike.
Are you indigenous?
No, I'm Chicano, Mexican American.
Cool. So yeah, I mean that would make you indigenous, right? You're from Mexico.
So, well, I mean, I was born. I'm Chicano. I was born in the United States, but my family is Mexican. Family is from Mexico. So,
It's a nationality. Lupita Nyong'o's family is also from Mexico. She black as the ace of spades. You understand? So you can be from Mexico and be a different race, but that would make you indigenous if your people are of the land of Mexico, like your people are from there.
got it. Got you. So, my wife is black, and we've been married for 8 years. So we have a 5-year-old, and I mean, I disagree with that last person who said that somebody who's not black can't raise a pro-black child. I'm raising my child to be pro-black and pro-Mexican.
What's the problem?
I do things like, we went to Disneyland. And you know who the best princess is Princess Tiana because she's pretty like mama.
No,
You know, I
no.
used to I used to joke with my wife that the kid's never going to see hair. He's going to have a shaved head like his daddy, but his curly hair is so beautiful that we didn't give him a haircut for 2 years. And I always tell him that I love Victor's curly hair. I love his curly hair. And Of course, I'm not perfect, but to say that you can't raise a pro-black child, I disagree. I disagree.
This is bullshit.
And
You're
I
using
didn't
your
get.
heart, not your
I
head.
didn't. What's that now?
You're using your heart, not your head.
Wow. I mean, that's an opinion. So why? Tell me why I can't raise a pro-black child.
You just said you're raising them to be pro-black and pro-Mexican, right?
Yes, yes, because he's both, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But here's the
You can
problem.
be both.
Here's the problem.
What's the
Mexican
problem?
is a Spanish word, right? Mexico.
Yes.
So you're giving them a colonized identity. So when you say Mexican as a race, you're um, you're erasing Black Mexican because you're saying that you're a race and there's multiple races in Mexico. So that right
So,
there,
so, so is he not supposed to embrace his Mexican side? Fuck his Mexican side? Is that what you're saying?
don't curse on my live. I didn't curse at you.
Got you.
Mexico is a nationality. We didn't
It's
say
also my culture, and his culture is black and Mexican, and he's going to embrace both of those. Um,
calm down and listen to a black man speak without interrupting him, okay? I'm talking about black people. We're talking about pro-blackness. You're making the conversation about Mexico. But now I'm gonna allow that so that we can talk a little bit more.
okay,
So, Mexican is a nationality. There's a culture as
gotcha.
well. There's a culture as well. Hispanic is the culture, but we can say that
No,
within
Hispanic is the white term that was given to us. Please don't call me that.
Mexican is a white term from the same country as
I feel
Hispanic.
like you should let him talk.
You gotta let
So
me
it makes
talk because I'm not even disagreeing with you, but you gotta let me talk. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't know how you don't know this. So anyway, Spanish people came down there and told y'all was Mexican. Really, y'all are indigenous and native to the land. But they done put such a mind spell on you that you don't even know that y'all are indigenous to the point when I tell you you're indigenous, you're like, no, I'm what the white people called us. And I'm like, bruh, they drew a
no, white
line
people didn't
and
name us Chicano, my friend. I'm just gonna let you
Hold on,
know.
listen. Hold
Chicano
on,
is
listen.
a
Oye,
Chicano.
DJ Vic,
What's
DJ
happening?
Vic,
Chicano
What's up?
cógelo
means
suave.
in Spanish.
Deja que él te hable, cógelo suave. Él va a hablar contigo, pero cógelo suave. Yo entiendo lo que él está haciendo, pero cógelo suave. Let him talk to you.
I
Just
apologize.
relax.
I'm just
Relax.
emotional
Yeah, just
because
relax.
I
Give it a
love my
second. Like
wife
when he
and
trying
my
to say
son.
something, you don't cut him off. But just
We
have the
got you.
conversation. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I understand. But just relax.
I'm not even arguing with him. That's the crazy thing. I'm just trying to clarify some things because I feel like he's just a little bit confused. And I'm just trying to just clarify. Like I'm not even arguing with him because your child has Mexican culture and they come from black culture as well. That should alone tell you that Mexican is not a race because there are black Mexican people. So he's just a black Mexican person. That is cool. That's what's up. You can be multicultural. That does not make him two races. He's a black person. You got a black parent. The race. People confuse race and culture. Black is not just a culture. If it was just a culture, then Eminem would be black because Eminem participates in black culture. So black is a race. The child race is black. That is not something that black people invented. The same people that called y'all Mexicans, Chicanos, and told you Hispanic are the ones that created that construct. So that being the case, what I'm trying to tell you is you cannot raise a child, a black child, to be pro-black and at the same time be pro-indigenous, another race. Because pro-blackness is prioritizing one's actions and values with what's in the best interest of building and empowering the black community. Prioritizing. You cannot prioritize two things at the same time. Can I
Oh,
prioritize
yes, you
my
can.
wife?
You could give them equal priorities.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
In your opinion, okay.
Not when it comes to race. It's not how it works. We have to think for our community. Everyone else thinks for their community. But whenever black folks want to think about themselves, we're told we got to root for everybody. And that's the
But I
problem.
never said
That's
that.
the
But I
problem.
never said that,
We
though.
define pro-blackness to be something that's inclusionary to everybody else. When we talk about pro-blackness, we're specifically talking about prioritizing ourselves. We can have another conversation about what black people need to do in order to feel included by the whole world, even though the whole world will include themselves in our business, whether we want them to or not. That's why there's black people in Mexico. But at the end of the day, we have chosen to prioritize ourselves, and those that do that are called pro-black. You cannot prioritize two different communities at the same time because what's best for one community might not be the best for the other community. And so that's where there's going to be a clash, and they're going to have to choose a side. To make your black child have to choose a side that of Mexican people that also perpetuate anti-blackness is crazy.
Of course. Yeah, that's very true. There's going to be some Mexicans that don't accept him because he's black. There's going to be some black people that don't accept him because he's not black enough.
No,
That's
that's a
something
damn
he's going to
lie.
have to
That's a
deal with.
damn lie. You telling that child that lie is part of anti-blackness, and that's something else that you
Oh, so
perpetuate.
you're going to say
No
there's going to be
one
no
has
black
told
people that don't
Nyong'o
accept him because he's
Look
not.
up who Lupita Nyong'o is.
Wow. So you speak for all black people.
Look
That's
up who
ridiculous.
Lupita Nyong'o is. She's
You know what?
played in
I've
the movie Black
experienced
Panther.
not being Mexican
She's
enough.
black and fine as hell, and no one told her because she's Mexican she ain't black.
So hold on, y'all. But don't drop him. I just want to I just want to do something real quick.
Yeah, they want him gone.
Legend, I understand what you're saying. I understand what Vic is saying. DJ Vic, what's the point you trying to make in terms of what you're saying in terms of Mexican culture specifically? What's the point you trying to
The
make?
the
Because
only
there's something
point,
you trying to say, and I hear you. I understand it. Trust me.
the
But what's
point
the
that I
point
was
you
trying,
trying to make, Vic?
the point
You
that
don't
I'm
gotta
trying to
like
make is
get upset or emotional about it. But what's the point you trying to make?
okay. The point I'm trying to make is I'm not going to get scientific of it, what's indigenous. He has Mexican culture, which I'm part of, and he has black culture, which he's part of, and he's going to embrace both of them, and he's going to be pro
That's
both.
culture. We're not talking about culture. We're talking about race, and that's the problem. You think
Right.
that culture is a
Legend,
race, and
legend.
that's the
Hold on,
problem.
brother. Hold on.
But
I know it's your
y'all hear the
platform.
issue,
Hold on.
right?
But real
Y'all
quick,
don't hear.
Can I
I'm gonna
say
let
one
Legend
thing? Can I
finish
say one
because
thing
I know
though?
he gonna get
Go
dropped.
ahead, Steve.
The
The,
pause is already there. I already saw that. Can he just
but
make his point
the
before he get
issue
dropped
is that he
for the
doesn't
sake of the live,
understand
or
what
you just
pro.
want to clip him
He
all in all?
doesn't.
Because I just want him
But
to get his
see,
point across
he doesn't
in terms of
understand
culture.
what
Because
pro
we
black
understand
is.
it. Hold
Steve,
on,
No,
Diva.
let him
Hold on,
talk.
see,
sister. Hold on.
okay,
Hold on, sister.
Can he
A
get
white
through
person looks at
his
me
point with
and
the
think I
culture
belong in
before
the
he get
kitchen
dropped?
or cleaning the
Yeah,
bathrooms.
because
Okay,
he getting clipped. But I just want to hear what he got to say,
a white person
respectfully.
looks at me and they think I belong working in the kitchen or in the bathrooms, right? I've had to fight that my whole life. And it's a white person looks at a black person, the racism is different, but it's still there and it's still experienced. So you can't just say, oh, well,
What the
you're
hell does
Mexican
your
and you
struggle
don't.
got to do with blackness? I'm gonna let Gunner talk. Go ahead, Gunner.
So I just want to say this, and this isn't like to defend or to protect Vic or anything, but what I need Vic and a lot of other people that come into this live to do, because I've been in the comments and I listen to you a lot to the live, brother. I think y'all really react emotionally. Like no one has said you can't raise a child, you can't love your child can't love being black and love being quote unquote Mexican. No one's saying that. What we're saying is you can't do that while being pro-black. Not being pro-black does not make you a bad black person. There are lots of black people living healthy, productive black lives with black children, with black families, black degrees, black houses, black jobs, black economics that still are not pro-black, right? Pro-black is a political stance that you are taking, right? So I wanted to bring up earlier, like even in interracial mixing, when you say you're prioritizing blackness, when you have an interracial child, you are adding recessive traits to a genetic pool. You are literally biologically making a child that is weaker genetically. So therefore you do not prioritize blackness above who you fell in love with. You do not prioritize blackness above what's beneath your belt. But you know what I'm saying? And that's okay. We're not saying you're bad people because of that. We are simply saying because of that, You cannot raise pro-black children. You cannot create pro-blackness. You are not pro-black. My father has a child by a white woman. Therefore, he is not pro-black. Here I am, his child, still pro-black. I think they did a pretty damn good job raising me. I think they do a pretty damn good job loving on me. But we are two categorically different things. My father is black. I am black. He is not pro-black. I am. Easy. Doesn't make any one of us bad, right? So I think y'all need to get outside of your brains. No one's saying you're a bad father, because I heard you kind of get emotional saying that something that like Brother Legend was saying, oh, you're not a good father. No one's saying any of that. What we're saying is you cannot prioritize two things when one is fighting for their life against systemic oppression for 500 years. Because at some point, your child, if they have to choose between funding a war in Africa, some African country versus now Mexico, they're going to have to make a choice. Are they going to always pick Africa first? I don't know now, because you've told them to prioritize both. Are they going to take their $1 million and send half of it to Mexico and half of it to Angola? Like, I don't know now, because you've told them to prioritize both.
So, real quick, Vic, what are you taking away from being on this panel?
Point.
What
Thank
did
you,
you
sir.
learn? Vic, what
I
did
think
you
I
learn
learned.
being up here on this panel
I
today
think.
in terms of
I think.
this pro-black conversation?
I think that I learned that maybe my definition of pro-black was incorrect. You know, and I think that I don't know. I still feel like you can prioritize both. You can give 50-50, but I understand
Black.
your point in saying that no, if you are trying to do 50-50, then you're not prioritizing. And maybe I did get a little emotional because like I love my wife and I love my son, and I'll sacrifice my life for both of them. And I just saw that headline, and maybe I just took it to the heart a little bit. Saying that I'm a bad parent. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, so I got a little emotional. I saw that headline because, I'm not perfect, but I try not to be racially insensitive, in my life. And I don't know. I just saw that and it kind of offended me a little bit. So there's no hate. There's no hate at all, man. It's all love. That's what my life and my household's all about.
And that's it. One last thing. That's it, DJ Vic. Right? Like it's the same thing with us and black people when like white people try to change the definition of racism to now fit a different type of narrative that includes us as racist as well. It's like you can't change these definitions. These definitions are rooted in the very foundation of what created these systems that govern us. So we can't move these definitions as we see fit. Right? We can't say, oh, well, now we have a lot of interracial relationships happening. So now we got to shift the definition of what it means to be pro-black. Or now we got a lot of white people that are cool with black people. So now we got to shift what it means to be racist. No, these definitions have real rooted meaning. They have context. They have historical context. They have historical pain, triumph, and tribulation on them. We cannot change them. Pro-black is what it is. You can love black people. You can raise beautiful black children with your wife. And I'm sure that even they can grow up and make the choice, a very hard choice, to be pro-black. But even that, I'm telling you, as someone who's quote unquote biracial, it will be it's a very hard and arduous journey because again, much like you, our parents are going to teach us to love both sides of all sides of who we are. So to have to make that choice is going to be hard for them, but they can do it. Like no one's saying that you're a bad person. That's it. Like we're just saying that this political stance is not possible.
Yeah, they can love both sides of their culture and still be pro-black. But the thing is, when we talking about cultures, we have to remember that there's anti-blackness in these cultures. So they can still unpack all of that and still be pro-black. It's just, yeah, like brother said, not being pro-black doesn't necessarily make you a bad person. It just means it just means that that person is not focused on the best interests of black people as a community.
And I also think maybe I read that title as me not being able to have him appreciate his black culture. And he will always do that. He has too much of a relationship with his mom and his uncles and his grandmas and, things like that. So much respect to everybody.
All right. Peace, man. One love. All right. And appreciate y'all for tapping like down there, man. I hope y'all getting something from this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really up here to change minds. Shout out my brother Kron. Appreciate you, man. Fire Squad in the building.
I have
Yeah.
a question.
Uh-huh.
In terms of the fact that we're in reality right now, and it's better to use our brains, do you think unconditional love could happen on this in this day and age?
Do I think what can happen in this day and age?
Unconditional love.
All right, so let's talk about the definition of love and that unconditional love. Where does that come from? Who told you that love was unconditional?
I believe it's unconditional for now. For now. Yeah.
Who told you that love was unconditional? Could it be the man that died on the cross?
No.
Then who told you that love was unconditional? Where did the term unconditional love come from? You know what I'm saying? Some people say God in the comments. Do y'all know that in African spirituality, there's no word for God?
Mm-hmm. It's a colonial construct. It's it's they're nice and fluffy, right? It's there. We're the good guy. Don't watch our left hand doing the bad stuff. Forgive us, love us unconditionally, even though we're flawed, right?
We're
In
the
our
good guys.
African
In African
culture and
church, we
history,
don't have a
that's not a
good man.
thing. Everything is conditional, right? That's the whole thing about us and our history and our culture. We wanted to live in balance with nature. We understood that everything was conditional. What I give out, the energy I give out to the universe is reciprocated. Everything is conditional. They came and created this construct of unconditional because they knew they was going to do some foul ass shit, and they wanted to say, "But you should love me anyway."
Yep.
And that's just not how spirituality really works with Afrocentric people.
Yep.
All right.
So I'm
I
telling you.
agree with that.
There's a brother
I
that you
actually
can
had a
listen to. There's a brother, Sister Lee. Hold on, because he got a long name. I was just talking about him in my Discord earlier, and I'm actually unpacking this, so we can unpack this together. You can come back on my live and we can talk about it. Let me drop this name for y'all in the comments too, man. This brother got 13 hours of lectures up on YouTube. His name is Isha Kamusa Barashango. That's one hell of a name, right? All right. Who wants to spell this out for me? One of the mods, could y'all write this in the comments so people can look this brother up? ISHAKAMUSA. Isha Kamusa. Last name BARASHANGO. Barashango. Someone type that. Yeah, type that in the comments. This brother, do y'all know who he is? He got an interview. He got a video with John Henry Clark, so you know he's valid. John Henry Clark co-signed you. You the real deal. But the way he deconstructs religion, oh my goodness! Look up the one where he even talks with John Henry Clark. Oh my goodness! Listen. Go ahead. What'd you say, D?
so
Control and manipulation.
Right. Someone
amen.
said I have it on DVD. Shout out to Hoodoo, man. You should have put us on game because I'm just
Voodoo's
just
awesome.
kind of finding out about this brother. I ain't gonna lie. So man,
Hey
he already
brother.
blew my mind.
Hey brother, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
For the culture first.
Absolutely.
Second, I actually had a question.
Yeah.
If the non-black parent has actively deconstructed their internal racism, is it possible for them to raise pro-black children?
If they've
Like,
deconstructed, you talking about if non-black people have deconstructed?
yeah, if they've deconstructed their internal racism, is it possible for them to raise pro-black children?
Blackness can only flourish
Think
in
it
the
would take-
absence of white people.
How long do you think it would take to deconstruct something that was put in you since the day you were born?
A long ass time. I was just asking because, like, the question had me thinking of that. I was like, but what of the people who are actively deconstructing their internal racism?
That's
Is it
interracial.
possible? Their
That's
internal
interracial.
anti-blackness.
That's
But
not
if they
pro-black.
were doing that, don't you think the fight would be more focused on ending the actual racism and oppression that Black people and other minorities are experiencing? Like, it's the craziest thing to think that someone that literally can inherently see racism being basically sold and bought throughout the world, right? Across continents, everywhere. And we can sit here and have the conversation of colonization, right? And we can understand the dynamics of, even when it comes to money, even when it comes to moral or politics, it shows up so blatantly. So if you were to say you're deconstructing something, just learning or trying to unlearn something that has been put in you and is shown to you every day, don't you think it would be far more valuable to be an anti-racist and pour into that than trying to figure out how to enter some circle of blackness or try to educate your children to be quote unquote pro-black when you don't even fully understand what it is to be YT in this country? They don't even understand fully their own history. They will deny and say they are the least racist individuals while spitting out literally white supremacy talking points.
I wasn't talking about YT people. I wasn't talking about them because I know their deconstruction gonna take forever and a day. I was asking about I know the Hispanic community does have active anti-blackness and racism within it. I was asking about that community. If someone in that community actively deconstructed the anti-blackness and the internal racism, is it possible? Yes, they would be doing active anti-racism work and fighting against racism, but is it possible for them to raise pro-black children? It's not about if they should. It's is it possible?
Be learning their own history and the Trail of Tears and what's going on with a lot of the land that's being taken right from under them. They need to be figuring out how they can get Texas back. Like, it's an understanding that we all have a history that's been, manipulated. I'm gonna say this: if you, as a non-black person, are so focused on how you can kind of, I'm thinking the word, try to insert yourself in the middle of a pro-black situation, you're hurting us. It's more harmful. Be anti-racist and focus on building it within your community. Just like YT people should focus on being anti-racist and figuring out why their kids and their husbands decide to go to all these different arenas like movie theaters, concerts, and schools and pew them. That we all in every community have our own issues that we need to be working on. You can't fix a black race. You are not black. Your focus shouldn't even try to be on freaking pro-blackness, because you already hurt the community when you took a man or took a woman outside of her community.
And might I add too, I think we have to stop thinking about unpacking as a destination, right? The way the systems have worked and the way we've been indoctrinated to them, it's an ongoing process. So I don't think a YT person can ever fully unpack their whiteness, right? There's not, just the same way as I don't think even as black people, we could fully unpack our blackness, right? It's so indoctrinated in us that we have to catch it. Same way as us as men and our misogyny and our transphobia and our homophobia and our fat phobia and all these different isms, right? That are so systemically ingrained. Like, honestly, it would take a wiping out of all these systems simultaneously and everyone that knows everything about them to just disappear and like a new tabula rasa to start, right? Because the thing about this indoctrination, as it literally starts from gender reveals, right? We like before the baby's even born, we start thinking about male names and female names and doing all these things around what they're going to look like and if they're going to be handsome little boys or pretty little girls and how they're going to act. Like all these systems are ingrained even prenatal. Right. So we're getting to the destination that something is unpacked. And now I'm completely unpacked my racism. I don't do it anymore. Or I completely unpacked my misogyny. I don't participate in misogyny anymore. Like that's just unrealistic.
So let me do this to Arlene's question. It's not impossible, but it will be difficult to answer your question. It's not impossible, but it's challenging.
It's
I was
impossible.
asking because I know some people who are married interracially, and they said that they wanted to raise their children pro-black. So I'm asking for them.
All right, let me talk, somebody, please. So you're talking about Hispanic people. It does
Mm-hmm.
black people a disservice when you refer to Hispanic people as a race. There are black people in that race. You don't see them because they are marginalized. And so that's the reason you think of a certain phenotype when you think of Hispanic people. Also, understand that there would be no Hispanic culture without those black people. Hispanic culture is from Africa, a big chunk of it.
So I should have said mestizo to be exact, which
You feel
is the
correct.
indigenous Hispanic group.
Exactly.
I just wasn't trying to say that exactly. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I'm asking you to do that is because, like I said, it's part of erasure. Um,
I
and if you
understand
know
that.
anything about the history of Argentina, oh my goodness, it is disgusting, the erasure. So anyway, uh, when we're talking about pro-blackness, we're talking about prioritizing our goals. Anti-racism, unpacking racism, is not part of our goals. Racism is not a black problem. It's a problem that affects the black community. So anti-blackness exists in all these other communities, including the Hispanic community. Even in black people in the Hispanic community have to unpack anti-blackness, because Hispanic just means you're from a Spanish-speaking country, which basically just means you're from a Spanish colonized country. So anywhere where there's a colonizer that don't look like you, from Europe probably, you're going to have to unpack anti-blackness. And when you talk about anti-blackness versus anti-racism, the metaphor I used last night was basically it's like we're playing a basketball game, and we're the Lakers, and the Bulls are, I guess in this case, Hispanic. I see. I was about to do it too. The Bulls are the mestizo, or is that what you call them? I call them indigenous.
Yes.
The indigenous South Americans, the indigenous people of this land. So the indigenous is on the Bulls, we on the Lakers. Anti-racism is getting the referee to play fair, the referee to call the shots accurately, to call the fouls, to make sure everything is fair. Pro-blackness is us focusing on our strategy and how we're going to score on the other team. So that's when you start to look at it that way, you understand that we have goals beyond not being oppressed anymore. We have to have goals like that. We have to want to build institutions. We have to want to build currencies. We have to want to do things that aren't going to be the best for other people. Because when they made this country America that we in, you think they give a damn about how it was going to affect African people? You think they give a damn how it was going to
Personal.
affect the indigenous people? When the
Nope, I
Asian
already
community
know.
does what they do all over the world, do you think they give a damn about the Congo when they taking resources? They don't give a damn.
Nope.
That everyone else is even the Jewish community. Israel is down in the Congo taking resources. They don't give a damn about anyone. Everyone else is allowed self-determination except black people. When we talk about black people, all of a sudden we got to become humanitarians. All of a sudden it's all about humanity and us working together when no one shows us humanity. So
Facts. I wasn't saying anything like that ain't true. You know how I think about everything. I'm actively looking into laws in my own city because I know that there are black disabled people who be needing sidewalks, and my area don't have sidewalks. I'm looking to see how we could get that started up here, and the city needs to pay for that stuff. Like, I pro-black to me actively means doing things for the betterment of the black community. Things that are actively help all within the black community. So even if it's going to help other racial communities within that group, I don't give a fuck. I'm looking out for my black people first. You know this about me. I've been on the panel and I've said this before. I was just asking because of the person I know.
I think it's possible for anyone else to be pro-black, because at some point we need to not give a damn about anyone else and be pro-black. We need those people to come to the front sometimes. You know what I'm saying? We might not need to we're not going to need to do this forever. When pro-blackness is achieved, then we can stop, because we've never been fascist. So once we've achieved our goals, we ain't gonna need to be pro-black no more. We ain't gonna even need the word black no more. We already wealthy. We good. We just melanated people. We out here. What's up? We just descendants of our ancient mother. That's all. But for now, as we're under attack, we need everybody that's gonna prioritize our community to the front of the line, and we need to be able to identify y'all and come together and unify. So that's what it's about.
So, Legend, let me ask you a question and say something real quick. Y'all know I'm Central American. I'm Garifuna. I'm Honduran, right? There's people who in America in the U.S., I got to be clear on this, that feel that if you're not quote unquote African American, you are not allowed to insert yourself in the conversation or the push against what's happening to black people in America. Because, let me say a Honduran, and I'm going to be clear. A Honduran is obviously, like you said, and I'm already aware of this, were colonized. A lot of us were colonized that were brought from Africa and dropped off wherever the hell we was dropped off at. There's people who claim African American as who they are solely. They don't even identify with being African. That anybody else that's not African American cannot say anything and not include themselves in the conversation of being quote unquote pro black. There's people that'll look at me or say to me, "You speak Spanish, you can't say nothing in this conversation. Speak. You speak Garifuna, you can't say something in this conversation. Speak." It happens on this app though, because I'm gonna be clear. Because in the real world, I know obviously when there's certain things that happen, Hondurans are right there, and we fought wars in different spaces and different places and what have you in terms of history goes. But it's interesting to me where the separation is, even within the conversation. Even though I get it, I understand culturally speaking, there are certain countries and communities of people that are obviously oppressed. They have to deal with their own cultural, whatever the hell, let me say war that's happening on the land. Do you think it's fair, Legend, for a person who only claims being African American or African, just solely that, to tell somebody from Central America or South America, you can't say shit in this conversation? Worried about just what your country is dealing with, if that makes sense. Is that a fair thing to do? In your
That
opinion, brother?
that's not even what I said
Hold on, no.
particularly.
I'm asking Legend a question. I'm no disrespect, but I wanna hear from Legend. Because there's a reason I'm saying this. Because if you remember before, on this app, for example, there's this FBA people, there's this B1 people, and they'll separate themselves to come at a Jamaican, to come at a Belizean, to come at all these people, to separate themselves. But I understand the conversation of reparations in terms of African Americans. That's another conversation. I know as a Central American, I cannot insert myself and say I deserve reparations because my people 500 years ago were brought over from Africa. I deserve American reparations. That is not a reality to me. I'm aware of that. But when it comes to the black issues, I guess is my question. Is it fair for anybody that's black to tell another black person, no matter what your culture is? Because I know, we all know, race, culture is two different things. Is it fair to say you can't speak in this space because you're not African American or you're not my kind of black, if that makes sense? Because to me, I don't think that's fair, brother. You can answer that if you want, but like that's weird to me. But I get it.
Yeah,
I do understand some of it.
yeah. Honestly, I'm FBA all day, and I'm tired of y'all rum and Red Bull drinking, no letting go, no holding back.
Come on, bro. Oh
Fine.
Lord.
You
I'm
Now
being
I'm gonna
tired
listen.
of
I'm
silly.
listening,
y'all.
bro. I asked you that question for a reason. Go ahead, bro.
Yam eating. I'm tired of y'all, man. Pounded yam. I'm playing. I'm playing, y'all. I'm playing. I'm Pan African all day. You know, I love my people worldwide. I don't let a colonizer's culture or religion separate us. I'll be honest with you. Um, to be honest, the things you're talking about is centered around that discussion of reparations. So basically, the colonizer has come up with a new way to divide us here on the continent, so that we don't have allegiance to our brothers and sisters around the world, to kind of put an end to Pan-Africanism, and that is for us to fight over the reparations. You know, the carrot they wave in front of our face. Ooh, you want reparations, don't you? Well, we can't afford to give it to everybody. So who's going to get it? And then, you know, they tell us that as they rob our mother, they tell us that's not our mother.
and that we're orphans here in America, and this is our native land. So that's all part of their plan to divide us. A lot of brothers and sisters have fallen for it. If you listen to Tariq Nasheed, you've fallen for it. That brother he has brought some people to the light, but a lot of people he's keeping y'all trapped. That FBA, ADOS, certain all that nonsense. That's part of what's holding us back. So we definitely got to stop doing that. And I also want to give my non-American brothers and sisters a little bit of understanding to understand that we're going to have COONs in every corner of our diaspora. So there's always going to be
I
traitors.
gotta go, bro.
All right.
I gotta go. I just wanted that information to think on, ruminate on,
All right. Thanks for coming
So,
in.
bless,
Yeah.
power, brother.
All right. One love, sister.
Speak. I would like to say this because it has to
But
be
there's the
said.
reason I asked that, brother. You already there. I be in a lot of places, but it's
I
just
don't care.
interesting to me
I'm
when
gonna
this
stop. Don't
happens.
be
But
cutting
this
me
your
off.
platform.
Don't be
But I
cutting me
get it.
off.
Trust me.
Don't be
Go
cutting me
ahead,
off.
Miss Lady.
Go ahead, dude.
Don't be cutting me off, sir. So I'm gonna say this. If you're black and you're part of us black people uniting across the diaspora, we're gonna move forward as a people. The issue in these conversations is some people correlate certain things that are not even connected to black people, and they want to be relevant or related to our movement, or they want to hitch their wagon. I say this all the time on this app particularly. I see a lot of black people that allow other people to come into their spaces and hitch their wagon to us and let us do all the labor of pulling them forward. And I'm not talking about no black people across the diaspora. I'm talking about other. And when we talk about others attaching and hitching their wagon to us, now we are doing double work, and we're still not freeing ourselves because we're allowing everyone else to make their issues priority. If you are married to a black person, or you are dating a black person, or you have children with a black person, how are you going to all of a sudden, what is it called? What did I say the word is a minute ago? Infiltrate our movements, which is we've already experienced, and completely destroy how we built it up. The young man earlier said it. Why don't you just love the people you with? That's not an anti-black. It's literally just loving them with a black person, that black person loving who they are. But the issue in these conversations is it gets conflated. It gets so conflated because what do I need to bring someone else into my movement when we as a black people have never been able to do anything that is not getting torn down or destroyed or infiltrated every time? We don't need you to bring your quote unquote non-black spouse into a movement where they've already taken you out of our community anyway. Support the anti-racist and push that agenda. Go into their communities. I want to see some of y'all that date outside y'all race. Go in their communities and work on them. Go offer some therapy over there. But when we sit here and we let everybody tackle on their issues in our fight, we are doing nothing. We're tearing ourselves down because we're working 10 times as hard to fix their shit while we're working on our own.
But I also wanted to say about your question, Speak, was that you got to remember that American brothers and sisters only meet those from the diaspora that choose to come to America a lot of the times. So a lot of the times their xenophobia is rooted in the fact that they haven't traveled to really meet the pro-black brothers and sisters in other places, because a lot of pro-black people are not going to choose to come to the United States. A lot of people that love their people are not going to leave their people and come to the United States. So a lot of people that come to the United States from the diaspora are those that come here for a better life, a better opportunity, have some type of savior complex for the oppressor. So a lot of for example, African brothers I've met, I can't even talk about some of the things I'm talking about, but a lot of the African brothers and sisters that I've met on this app, however, I've been able to talk to them, and they on code. They understand a little bit better. But in real life, I don't run into these Africans every day because these are the ones that chose to come here, come to an American school, come to learn to speak English and get a good job. They're not going to come here and help us destroy what's going on, oppressing our people. They're taking part in it. They choosing to come here to take part in something. They're not going to help us tear that down because it's on our people's back. So some of us have only seen that version of brothers and sisters from, for example, Dominican Republic and Honduras and Panama. Except honestly, I met a lot of Panamanian brothers. Pop Smoke is from Panama. Them brothers, they black as hell. But anyway, you know what I'm saying. So that's where you can give them a little leeway for their ignorance, but it's still ignorance, and that's not helping nobody. I'm too.
I feel you. I just had the one question.
Yeah.
I understand. Trust.
What'd you say, Brother Legend? They come here because they done drunk the Kool-Aid. They're not gonna help us take the sugar out of it.
Hey, there you go. That's a good one. I like
Right?
that.
That's why they came here, because they drunk it. They think it's sweet over here. So they coming over here like, hey, this is where I was told to come for opportunity. You over here complaining about it? You want to destroy the thing that I'm coming for? That sounds crazy, right? That they bought into the house Negro concept. They brought into the adjacency. If I can somehow get closer to Western engine, if I can get closer to white people and the money capital of New York or X, Y, and Z, then I'll be better off than I am in my own land, because no one gets oppressed over in America, right? You're oppressed because you chose to be. Right, because that's also the narrative and propaganda that they're being spit to them from the American engine over there. That, hey, your country is doing bad and everything because it's your country. You should come over here where you have more opportunity. And it's like, no, that's not, your country's doing bad over there too, because the same white oppression that's oppressing us over here.
Right. Yeah. No, that's real, man. And so some of us never traveled to meet the ones that chose to stay and work with their people. So we judging them by those that choose to come here, and that's where the miscommunication is happening. But and so that's why Tariq Nasheed got his following, because he be just calling out the traders that that are from the diaspora that come here from outside the country that come here, and so there's a little bit of truth to it. It's just he's misconstruing it and adding xenophobia in his version of anti-blackness with the information. So it's like poison. What's good, Lala?
My kids.
Out here.
Okay.
Get them shoes at this living room. I ain't care about none of that other stuff. But what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Oh, we well, man. I'm doing great. We having a productive live, I think.
Oh, you want me to run down the topics real quick?
Go ahead.
Can interracial relationships be pro-black? Absolutely not. Can non-black parents raise pro-black children? How the feezy you gonna do that? And like, come on now, make it make sense. make it make sense for me.
I've married my black man, and I believe I can make these children pro-black, and you need to get out of my way.
First of all, Miss Lady.
Miss Darla. She sound like Darla.
Let me tell you something, Miss Lady. You don't sit up here and tell me anything.
I'm as black
because
as you.
you're
I'm blacker than you.
No, you're not. No, you're not, Miss Lady.
I know about your culture. My husband's sister came and taught me how to cook y'all's food. I know how to fry chicken, and I eat watermelon more than the average blackie.
Blackie was wild. Blackie was wild. But let me tell you something, Miss Lady. Don't you ever sit over here with your pink tail with those thin lips try to tell me anything about myself. You understand me?
You sound like Pennsylvania.
You know what's kind of crazy though about this concept of like white people being anti-racist and then saying, oh, because of that, I feel free to like go and make babies with black people. It just lets me know that you haven't gotten far enough in your true anti-racist path, because if you did, you would realize the harm you're doing to these yet to be born black kids with a white parent, right? Like, you would recognize that you will by inherently bring harm to the very thing that you say you've unpacked and you don't want to bring harm to. Like, that's the part that's like, it's the cognitive dissonance in that. Like, your whiteness in the presence of your black children or black husband inherently puts them in danger. Yet you say you're anti-racist or you're not racist and you don't want to bring black people danger, but you engage in an interracial relationship by choice.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's fact. All right. Let me let the new guest up here speak. Independent, I believe. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? Independent.
Can you repeat that?
Talk to us. Unmute yourself. You muted right now.
You repeat that?
I'm sorry. My phone
Yes.
was giving up.
Give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please.
I am 30. I'm black, and don't have any pronouns. I'm male, I guess.
Okay, talk to us.
I have mixed kids, so as far as YT being pro-black, I can say there are a lot of good ones out there.
Lord have mercy.
Every one of them ain't racist. And I happen to have best friends that are that, so I really can't complain about them. Now, as far as what they did to blacks, I can't complain, but the ones I've met, they support blacks to the fullest.
That is a damn lie. Why you saying that?
Black, it depends.
I
Blacks was
said the ones
wild. Yeah,
I met,
hold
the
on,
ones
hold
I
on,
met.
hold on. Blacks was wild. Blacks was wild. Like, not, go on, boy, get.
We need 4 more of them. I don't know what that
Go
was.
on, boy, get. It's time for you going back in the house. Master calling for you. Go on. Go on, boy, get.
Uh,
Take
Go
off.
on.
I'm 30, so my generation
Yo,
Now,
she
I'm
said,
30
go
too.
got
on. That's
past
I'm
that
30.
crazy.
racist.
I am 30 as
Nigga
well.
said,
Go on,
Master
boy, get.
calling for you. Go
Master,
on.
master calling. Go
Yeah.
on, boy, get.
Damn.
Yeah, about that. Well, yeah. Man, he stood up here and waited that long. Shout out to Gunner, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Well,
Na
you know how I
na
feel
na
about quote unquote
na na
black
na.
people who tokenize their quote unquote mixed kids as some kind of like leg up. Like it's so cringe to hear, white people obviously tokenize black people, but it cringes me as well when I hear black people do it to their own black kids, their proximity to whiteness, where I got some mixed kids because I was able to get me one of them white gals.
Yeah.
My kids ain't got that 4C hair, my kids got, they got good looking skin. Like, no, you have black children. Like, you're a black man up here talking about you got mixed children. No, you're a black man with black children. Like, no, we're not doing this. Sorry. All right, keep going.
Yeah, that wasn't it. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't it. We're gonna keep it pushing, man. That person gone. We got 2 more people in the chamber. Let's see what's going on in here. Oh, we got a few people trying to get up here. Let some people up.
So Legend, come on, brother. Let me just do this real quick, and then I'm gonna drop. Listen, y'all, get the lights to 150K, man. Tap the screen. Um, this was a interesting live today. Energy different. Diva shut me down yesterday, or whenever it was that I was here last. But y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. Get the likes up to 150K. Tap, 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 tap that goddamn screen. Gift, Diva, and Lala, the co-hosts. And y'all be easy, man. Peace.
All right, brother. One love. Appreciate you.
That's later. Got a beautiful
Tanya
church
Love.
man.
Tanya Love. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
I'm sorry.
Yes, hi. My age is 50. My race, I'm black. I'm a black woman, and my pronoun is I'm a black woman. My
All
age
right.
is 50. And I'm sorry, I've been here for a minute.
You got it. You got it, Queen. Go ahead. What's
Okay.
up?
Okay, my answer to the first question is absolutely not. And the same to the second question. But I noticed that a lot of the comments are being said about men and women and black men and women. What about other races? Because actually know a black man who has a biracial, well, Hispanic and black child, but the child don't speak English. She only speaks Spanish. And I think that's weird. And I also know a black man who's so pro-black, and he do all the readings about all the blacks, this, that, and the third, but he's married to a white woman, and I tell him he's a hypocrite. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong for telling. I mean, if he say he pro-black and he got a pot of donut next to him every night, that's not weird. But why is it weird that his child is speaking Spanish and not English?
Because the father is black, is American, the mother is Mexican, Hispanic, and she only speaks Spanish. So his black side can't um, interact with her because she don't speak no English. And it's like I asked them, why would y'all do that to her? Why not teach her both languages to help her in this world that we live in? She don't speak or no English. She only speaks Spanish. And I mean, I don't want to say it's weird. My apology for that. I just want to say I don't understand why. And when I asked them why they did that, they can never explain it. It was like basically just something they wanted to do. And it's like, I don't see how that would be okay if she's going to be looked at as a black child, black woman, but she don't speak English. And it's okay to speak Spanish. I'm not saying that, but only Spanish, no English. Y'all don't
I
think
mean, no
that's
English when
not
the
weird?
who speaks English is wild. Now I see what you're talking about. I thought you were saying like English is, you know, not also a colonizer's language, you know, but if the black side of the family speaks English and the child only speaks Spanish, that's probably that mother's that's that mother you know, creating that barrier for the child, you know. So that's messed up, you know.
That's the same thing I
Who do
said.
we blame? Who do we
Huh?
blame for that?
I actually blame both of them because they both speak English, but she just speaks Spanish to the baby. So I
No, but
blame him more,
I'm not
but I
talking
blame
about.
both of them.
I
Huh?
don't mean blame for the child speaking a language. I mean, who do we blame for the whole situation?
What do you mean the whole situation of her not
It's the
speaking
black man.
English?
The brother that did what he did to put this situation together is the one that we blame because when it comes to pro blackness, we're the only ones with a consciousness understand that these things are important. No one else
Right.
outside of us is going to prioritize the children being able to speak to their black side of the family. So that just means that that brother lacked the critical thinking in what he was doing. He was thinking probably with the other head, not the one on the shoulders.
I agree, totally agree with that.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
totally agree. But like I said, the other one where I know a guy, he say he's pro black. He read all the black books. He just finished reading the book. I believe it's called 1619 about racism and how
The brother
it's
of the
like he
top.
don't like white men, but he likes white women. And when he tries to like tell me stuff about the book and movies and all this, I just look at him and he'd be like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "You a hypocrite to me because it's okay, nothing wrong with being pro black, but you can't be pro black and you creating families and you over here with white people. That's
That's
kind of weird to me."
I know some TikTok. I know some TikTok lives y'all be getting on. Some of the hosts be doing the same thing, and I'm not gonna call nobody out, but I already had TikTok beef with this dude. But yeah, you know me because listen, when it's about my people, listen, don't be up here misguiding folks. You
Right.
know, like if you going even if you going to be pro black and you know married to a mayonnaise jar, that's cool. But you know, what I'm not. If you're gonna claim that, I'm not gonna say it's cool. But if you're gonna make pro black content, cool. Make pro black content though. Don't have little mayonnaise in your ingredients and you misleading people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it, you know, it just it's nasty. But I would say, of course, you got to practice what you preach,
Right.
and you can't say that you can't even show people how to be intentional about building in our community if you're not being intentional about building in our community. You're always going to have a little bit of bias because you got that person that you love back home that you just you know you found
Yeah,
one of
that's
them.
the,
So
and I agree, and I say that wholeheartedly because I just, like I said, I just like, okay, you pro black, but your
yeah.
wife is white. So how does that work?
I
So
would like
I
to make an argument. I don't know this
Send him
brother.
that book. They were her property. They were her.
hmm,
I don't know this. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say
Go
I
ahead.
don't know this brother Tanya Love or brother Legend, but something about it says his pro-blackness extends to their point of switching power, patriarchal power, with the white man. And once he does that, that's where his pro-blackness stops. It's not about the liberation of black people; it's about the liberation of him as a black patriarch.
Mm.
Don't
yeah,
know him, but just based on the fact that you do all this pro-blackness and you're doing all that work, but then you don't mind, mayonnaise. That says to me that it's really about your personal politics as a black man.
right.
You
That's
got the
the same thing
whiteness.
I
I
said.
got the patriarchy. Together we could be a white man. Come on and join me.
Yeah, because he tell me, he's like, he's a semi friend, and he tell me that they have like racial issues. I'm assuming, if you will. And I asked him, I said, did you not think you guys were gonna have that issue in your relationship? You black, she's white. That's obvious. You you say it's a problem for you that she acts a certain way and she doesn't understand, but you still married her. You still made a baby with her. You still there. So evidently how she feels doesn't really matter to you. And that's just my opinion, like I said, and it's just weird to me. And I just look at him like, your argument is it's always black this, black that, we this, we that, whatever. But then you chose to go on the other side of the fence because you felt like that was better. And he was like, no, that's not it. But I'm like, that's what it sounded like. Like, we got good black women in this world, so, but you complain about the type of woman she is, but you still married her and had a child with her. So I try to talk to him, but
Married
no.
too? That's crazy.
Yeah, they're married with a child.
That's crazy. That's
And I'm
crazy.
like, you can't be pro-black. That's very hypocritical what you're doing. And then back to your comment about the live creator. I was on a live and it was I'm not gonna say no names, but it was a black creator on there. He was saying how he just thought he was so much better because he used to be married to a Japanese woman. Not trying to be racist, and people probably seen this live. And he was like, every time he would go with her to her family house, she would always refer to him as her black husband. So, and I'm like, were they blind? Did they not see that she was black, or is your name black? So, but his name is not black. So I was just, I don't know. I don't do the, not being racist. I don't do the race mixing. I just don't do it to keep the confusion down. I just don't do it. But I love your lives. I try to catch them. I'm only off on Friday, so I try to catch your lives every time I can because you guys be having really good conversations, and I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Queen. Thank you.
So, and thank you for calling me in to talk. Thank you. Everybody have a good one. I'm still listening though.
All
Talking
right.
about Black Wing.
Hello.
Thank you for the gift.
You talking about Black Wing? Cause I see him bouncing from live to live and then be on it. Okay, I'm hush. I'm hush. I'm a hush.
Lala, Bessie. Here with her.
Oh yeah.
Lala up. But nah, that's wild. Listen, you can't know what's going on in the black community and understand that when we're born, there are more boys than girls. There's 1.08 boys born for every one girl that's born in our black community. By the time they reach the age of 18, there's only one eligible bachelor for every two eligible bachelorettes. And that's by design. Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu talks about it in Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. And that was in the 80s. So it's actually gotten worse. There's parts of the country where there are 5 single black women for every 1 single black man that's not locked up, 6 feet under, or, married to a Olympian. So that being the case, it behooves us as men because having children, sisters having children in fatherless homes directly correlates with their disenfranchisement. Sisters having children in fatherless homes with no black man around is the number one cause of poverty among their demographic as black women. So we are dooming our sisters by not being intentional with how with building with them and being with the sisters. So that's our responsibility as men. If you're a pro-black man, if you don't care nothing about the community, stay the hell away from black women. But if you're intentional about building the black community, then what better way to do that than to show your allegiance to our community through loving yourself through a black woman, a reflection of you, of a divine feminine reflection of yourself. All right, so I'll go to the next guest. Who is it? Somebody let me know in the Alicia, let me know who
Trigger was here before Terrence was.
Trigger, okay. Trigger, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please? You're muted, Trigger. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. We waiting.
You say?
We're waiting for Trigger.
Oh, it's Trigger time, but I mean, Trigger ain't saying nothing at this point. We just move on, Terrence.
Yeah, we're gonna move on. Who's next?
Announcement. We would love to get to 150. So everyone tap that screen. 150 is what we need. The host has a gift goal. I need you to send those gifts. And when you get these sellouts, get down the panther paw and put them down like you would if they were the ancestors. Let's go, you guys. It is time to go. Flip the show. You are in Brother Legends Live. Tap that screen. Share it with your enemies. Enjoy.
You get on my nerves. All right, Trigger,
He's
you
so
ready
mad at me.
now? I think Trigger had unmuted they mic. You ready now?
You ready, Trigger? Trigger, you?
Or are you trolling?
Oh,
May I
man.
make a quick announcement if Trigger's not ready, brother Legend?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
I just
taking
want
it.
to add for the intersectional blackness, for those of us brothers and sisters that are on the other side of the sexuality, that the same demand is also required, right? We have a lot of expendable income, a lot of us, because we may or may not have created biological children. It is still our responsibility to date within our race, even if it is of the same gender, and still propagate black uplift.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, now Trigger, this last time, cause you want to keep unmuting when somebody got something to say. So now this your last time to unmute your mic and have your speech, or you can go.
All right. We're going to move on
Go
and try.
holler.
I'm trying. Let me try to unmute.
Nah, cause Buddy keep on unmuting every time somebody get
Why you
say
say
something.
unmuted? You funny. You sound like Lil Willie.
Now
You
you
talk.
know I'm from the South.
That's cool. My wife was trying to make fun of
I don't
y'all.
like the accent.
All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest.
Paying attention. The
Terrence,
person in the comments,
oh, what was that? White silence.
I'm actually the kills is missing. I'm sorry, the name is so short. It's actually the either way. This toxic guy in the comments, he's just shit talking there. I don't know if anybody is seeing it. Is like I don't know if that's necessary or if he can be muted or blocked or whatever. He's just in the comments being a
Yeah,
white man.
the mods got him.
Comment.
He might be stepping a little too close to the line, but they'll get him. He cross it up.
Pull his follicles.
All right. Terrence, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Okay, I'm 47 years old. Race is black, and pronouns, I'm a man.
All right. Thank you. Talk to us.
As far as, can I, let's just be pro-black. Um, no, it can't. I mean, I just don't think it can be pro-black, because two people both have to have the same focus, and I don't think um, both of them can have the same focus, maybe just one. Can non-black parents raise pro-black children? No, it's impossible because they don't know anything of the black experience. So there's no way that they can at all raise a pro-black man or a woman.
I heard that. Okay. Short and to the point. I ain't mad at you. That's what we up here to. That's what we up here to let people know. Glad you were able to share that with us. And White Silence, did you want to say anything else?
Yeah, thank you.
Silence kills. I can't say the K word up here. Actually, they're not supposed to say that. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Also sorry for the trouble I had earlier with my mic. It was just, the iPhone is just iPhoning. So, yeah, like I said earlier, it's always a no. Like it's always a no. The first question is no. The second question is no. Even though I was thinking you were referring to like a black and a white parent, because like Terence just said, we simply do not have the Black experience. And like I said earlier, love is not enough. You need to, first of all, start with yourself. Like, there was something that was said earlier about a white person being anti-racist, and then, you know, sometimes with that anti-racism comes the entitlement of thinking, oh, I've decolonized, I've unpacked my racism, blah blah blah, so I can now interact with Black people. And the thing is just that we can never be anti-racist. It's just not possible. Like, a white person, a white passing person, however you want to call it, can be anti-racist when the skin color alone is directly attached to racism, and a direct threat or a direct problem for non-white people, especially for Black people. So how are you going to be anti-racist when your existence alone can be a threat or is a threat to Black people that you claim to love so much? Like, it's not possible. Even you said earlier, like, Blackness can only flourish in the absence of whiteness. So that's why even if we give birth to Black children, or children that are being perceived as Black, they need times away from their white parents where they can be among themselves, where they're not going to be questioned, because you will never, as a white person, be completely free of microaggressions or be completely free of internalized racism. It's never going to get to that point. You can be extremely sensitive towards racism and educated.
Please, I'm trying to stop you from running over your own feet. All right,
Sorry.
so white people are the only people that can be truly anti-racist, to be honest. Non-Black people are the ones that can do that within their community, but specifically white people, they're the ones they need to be anti-racist, because racism is a white problem that affects Black people.
Anti-racist system and country, then what's the point of anyone's existence?
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, so English isn't my first language, right? So what I mean by you cannot be anti-racist in a sense of, no matter how educated and sensitive white people become towards race,
She got a call.
no matter the quote unquote work they put into deconstructing the system, like, they're going to stand on the side of the oppressor. Like, because we are still living in the presence of racism.
So, but do you know how many YT people say they're not racist, right? So if you're telling me that you're ready to change basically the structure in which something, although you benefit, it still harms you, especially the community of the YT that are poor. It's amazing how they experience a level of oppression because of the system. But this country, America, has lost trillions, and you can Google it. They literally lost trillions by oppressing Black people, particularly with racism, when it came to jobs, when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to buying homes. This country has literally lost trillions. So it affects everyone, and it suppresses everyone. The fact that education used to be free for this country, and then all of a sudden when Black people and brown people got involved, now it's time to put a price on something. It's harmful to have so many uneducated people in society. That's actually a danger. But those things are literally oppressing the world.
Of course, that is why
it would benefit you to be anti-racist. It would benefit any YT person who is worried about their grandkids and how they show up, or the lack of benefit. Because when the table is flipped, do you really want to be on the wrong side of it?
Of course not. That is why most white people, even when they say they are not racist, they are dismissing, they are distancing themselves from their whiteness, which systematically gives us benefits. You know, that's what I mean. Even if a white person is poor, they still obviously reap white privilege, sorry. So even at their lowest points, they will still benefit from their sole appearance, only from the way they look and the way they are racially being treated in society and the way they navigate the world. So for it to be anti-racist, it would mean that they could drop their whiteness and actually no longer participate in racism.
Jessica, you know your voice. Oh, my
Which
bad.
to my understanding, that's not
Um,
possible.
it's
No,
not about
so
their whiteness. Some of the famous, I guess I would say abolitionists were white, that helped, move the black cause. So it's not about dropping your whiteness. It's about using that whiteness to help stop the people who are racist and, make it easy for blacks to live in this country. That's what it's about.
yeah, white silence. I'm gonna operate on the premise that you said, English isn't your first language. So I think it's the rhetoric that you're using that's kind of problematic, right? Only people who can be racist are capable of being intentionally
There you
anti-racist.
go.
Only
Right.
white people can be racist, so only white people can be anti-racist. Now, the other part that you're saying, I think, is the true part where you're tripping on your language, is while being anti-racist, the presence of white skin still poses a danger to black people. Yes, that is true. So while you're doing the work as a white person, still your existence in proximity to black bodies puts us in danger. Both things are true, but you absolutely are
And
the
you
only
cannot
people.
distance yourself from that. Like, we can't drop that just because
Yeah,
we are aware of it. It still happens.
yeah, that's what we're saying. We agree with you. Like, you cannot drop the harm that we have anytime we're in proximity to you can never be dropped. But what you
Exactly.
can still do is do the work of trying to dismantle a system that your forefathers and people who look like you created.
Can you
Only
hear
y'all
me?
can do that work. We can't do that work for you.
Yeah,
You can hear
and
me?
it's not your job either. So
You hear
I'm
somebody
sorry
talking.
No?
for the wordings.
Is that you, Brother Legend?
Oh, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We just don't see you.
Okay. All right. So I don't know. Turn it down. Yeah, I don't know what happened. My phone just did something. But I appreciate you, Gunner, for breaking that down, and D holding it down like y'all always do. And I agree with basically what you're saying, because that's what I was about to say before my phone shut down. Was I don't know. I know I'm frozen. I don't know why it's like that, because I can't fix it. But anyway, what she was saying about anti-racism, yeah, that's something that the white community has to do. So I think you conflate in anti-racism and pro-blackness again. Uh, Anti-racism is the job of white people. Pro-blackness is the job of black people. We gonna just not conflate the two of them. What I was gonna say was, if you had a neighbor that was a registered ex offender. You know what that is? A edophile. You know what I'm saying? Um, with children, right? So you know this about your neighbor, and your neighbor tells you, "I'll pay you $1,000 not to say nothing," and pulls up to their house next door to you with van loads of little children, and you hear the children screaming, you hear them banging on the windows, and you see videos of what's going on with the children, so you know what's going on. 1,000%, you know what's going on. The children are screaming. The children are marching up and down the street, telling you that it's going on. They're telling you what's going on, but your neighbor pays you $1,000 a day to keep your mouth quiet. You decide you feel bad and you want to do something about it, but you don't know what to do. You get together with your friends, y'all have a book club, and you talk about how bad it is. And man, I wish we could really do something about this. That is not anti-racism. That is you, gaining some sort of conscience, and that's great, But anti-racism is because you asked, like, what do we do, and you're talking about racism as if it'll always exist. It can be dismantled, and as you're benefiting from the oppression of these, in this scenario, those children, you're benefiting, you're getting $1,000 a day. If you really care, you're a real anti-racist. It can be achieved by a white person by simply going into the house next door with a pow pow, a metallic object that propels other metallic objects through the air, unaliving that person that's doing that harm to those children and saving those children, getting radical about doing things to save those children because you know what's going on with them. White people know every day. They see in our videos, they see in our music, they see us talk about it on these lives, they see it all over social media. The George Floyd protest was worldwide. Everybody knows what's going on with black people. Everybody knows. But yet they still just sitting around talking about how bad they feel as they continue to benefit from it every day. Every day you have white skin in an anti-black world, you benefit from that white skin. And we know that you know what's going on, and you can be an anti-racist by acting the same way you act when your favorite soccer team wins and y'all are turning over buses and lighting trash cans on fire. By acting like that about what you see going on with other people in the world, black people, you can be an anti-racist. But most white people are not doing that. We got 200 million of them here in America, and I haven't seen 50,000 of them out of 200 million. I have not seen 50,000 of them get together and decide to be an anti-racist. So I would say it's a very slim chance we're going to see that happen, but it can happen.
You bring up a good point, brother. As you was talking, I was thinking, right? Like, of course, anytime something happens to us, rub skin, we protest, we march, right? But where are all these anti-racist and non-racist YT people when there isn't front page news, right? Because racism happens every day, whether George Floyd happens every day, right? Shouldn't they be literally marching every day saying, America, we want you to stop global racism. We want, if you're really anti-racist, it shouldn't take one of us being unalived for you to join us in the march for our liberation. You should be doing it every day. Like, hey, y'all have a seat. This is our problem. We're going to march until our politicians change, until our governments rewrite the rules. We're going to do the marching. No, you join alongside us because now you get some clout for joining in, but really you're not leading the work of being anti-racist. We're having to protest for our lives while you join along for the ride to say you were there along the ride. Like, that's just, as you were saying, I was just thinking, like, to your point, I've never seen a white people's march for black liberation. But I know a whole war that was fought. I know a whole war that they showed up and fought over who gets to make money off of us.
Right.
Why silence? Can you answer that?
I didn't hear what you said, please.
I don't think you asked her a question. I asked no question.
No, what Gunnar just said. Where you at?
That's the point. That when these things happen, you don't see these people that claim to be anti-racist. You don't see them nowhere. You don't see them changing laws, marching. You don't see them in politics. You don't see them in their schools doing anti-racist work. You don't see them talking to other white people.
But I think that's the thing Lala's asking you, White Silence, is no. Where were you marching at yesterday? Did you march today? Did you go down to your local courthouse today? You say you do the race of anti-racism, and you say you're trying to break down race and all this, but where were you today fighting for that? Or do we need another George Floyd or something like that to happen?
George Floyd happens every day in the Congo.
Right,
every
exactly.
Day,
right.
48 women an hour are actually it's 48 women a day, I think. Is it 48 a day? I don't know. Every hour two women, I'm sorry, it's 2 an hour. 2 women are R-worded every hour in the Congo. Right now, the most dangerous place on earth for any woman, specifically black women, is the Congo. It's happening right now in the Congo. And as far as the men, we don't get R-worded in the Congo. They dispose of us. So George Floyd is happening every day. And we're waiting for all the good white folks to stop talking about marching. I'm tired of y'all talking about voting. I'm tired of y'all talking about donating to and doing black capitalism and buying black and all this. I'm tired of all of that. Let me see y'all take some of that. We just won the Super Bowl. We just won the Stanley Cup energy and do something about what you see is going on that you benefit from. Because see, that's the thing, y'all benefiting from it while you're remaining silent. And you saying you're not complicit, but you get that, in my metaphor, you get that $1,000 a day. And then you trying to figure out how you can keep your $1,000 a day, but still look like a good person. And so anti-racism is easily achievable if y'all act like it affects y'all, but y'all don't want to see it that way. So that's, that's the thing.
Yeah, like where's y'all's energy that y'all had toward 9/11 when Americans were attacked on American soil, for Black Americans being attacked on
Forget.
American soil?
You better never forget. You better never forget about
Right,
9/11.
and I'm not even being dismissive of 9/11, but right, 9/11 have been happening to Black people since we were brought here,
Oh
and I
no,
don't
no,
I,
no,
I don't see
no,
that. I don't see
no,
y'all going to war
no.
with nations for us.
Gonna,
So
now
I just don't
gonna,
believe it.
now
6
gonna.
million people have been unalived in the Congo in the past few years.
Now I understand all of that, but you don't say anything about America in 9/11 because those were some good people, and we better not never forget
Were those the
about
good people that just found out?
9/11. Do you understand, man?
All right,
Conversation
y'all, I
and
gotta
find it.
go.
Let me say this last part. In this conversation, what the issue is that they want to benefit and sit in the YT privilege. They just want you to shut up while they get to enjoy that. That is
Yeah.
what is being said in that space.
And their imperialist colonial construct of this duality of being good versus bad people, right? They just want to be able to do bad stuff and call themselves good people. Or they want to be able to watch bad stuff happen and say, I didn't participate, so I'm one of the good ones. No, you don't get to do that. Not when we've been telling you that this has been going on, not when you know that this has been going on and it continues to go on, and you and your people benefit from it. You don't get the benefit of saying, I didn't call nobody N-word, so I'm not the bad guy.
Shaka Musa Barashango said the same thing you just said. The brother that I was talking about before, he said the same thing. They just want to just tell you that they good people. That's crazy. Y'all need to look that brother up. But I'm gonna keep doing my work. I appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for livening up my live and joining me,
Again,
man.
I wrote it down. I think I threw the paper away, brother. You know, I've been here
It's
cheap, and I didn't.
Friday.
Nah,
It's Death Day.
it's always a good show when Gunna's here, man. D, Lala in the building. I appreciate y'all. My claps aren't working. Dang, my claps not working. That's crazy. They took my claps away. I
Oh
gotta
man,
go, but thank y'all and all my mods, Molly, Leisha, Lovely Rose Petals, Hoodoo. Appreciate y'all for joining, making sure the live is safe, man, as always. And I'm gonna check y'all out tomorrow. One love.
Don't forget your scrub, your towel.
Oh yeah, don't forget your washcloths and don't forget to go on my page and click on that YouTube button and subscribe. I'm posting all the lives there. I post all my lives on YouTube now. All right, y'all.